We have Mr. Anthony Porter.
Hey,
What's up, dude?
Good to see you again, Nate.
You too, bro. Cheers with waters.
Ooh, yes. Or it's vodka.
Or vodka.
I don't know.
Dude, you're pretty funny. Or your content is pretty funny.
Thanks, man. Yeah, it's fun. It's a tactic.
Yeah, like where did you come up with the idea to collab humor with outdoors? Because growing up in like a city or a big city, or at least LA,
Yeah.
like, or New York or any big city, like outdoors is not really a thing. Even like I have personal training clients who just like don't really fuck with like camping or the outdoors, and your content makes outdoors interesting.
It just answered your own question. I think I make them funny for people that don't want to watch outdoor videos.
Yeah.
I would say more than half of my followership don't care that it's about outdoor stuff. They want to see the jokes.
Yeah.
But I'm sliding in all those little facts and sliding in those survival skills. And just because I want people to get outside, my main meat is like, yes, get them outside. How do I package that? And for me, it's communication. It's comedy.
Yeah.
So
why do you want them outside? Why do you want people outside? Why is it important for people to be in the outdoors?
Oh, why do I want people outside? That's a loaded question, but I love it. I think the main reason is I want to help the world, the planet specifically.
How does that help the world and the planet?
How can I give an example? Do you shop for responsible palm oil?
I don't even know what responsible palm oil is.
So a lot of folks, if you polled people that are outdoor enthusiasts and people that aren't outdoor enthusiasts about what palm oil is, the people that are just living in the city and living their lives, and there's nothing wrong with that, they would say, no, I have no idea what that is. And so they would continue to shop unsustainable palm oil. The folks that are outdoorsy and maybe have a closer connection with nature understand that, like, oh crap, like palm oil is a deforesting preservative that people use in Indonesia. They slash and burn agriculture. So they burn down rainforests and plant these plants. And it's directly causing the extinction of the orangutans. It's causing the extinction of biodiversity across our planet.
To get this palm oil.
And so like all of this is just, I want to get people outside first. You can't conserve the planet if you don't appreciate it and feel comfortable in it. I mean, I guess you can, but it's way harder. So
yeah, like donating money.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I'm like the first funnel.
That's like an easy way to say you're doing it, but not actually know or actually do it.
It's scary, man. I mean, even if you donate all of your life savings to something, like how do you know if it's going to make a dent? And it's nuts. So educating, getting that long burn of just having people engage with nature, that's going to make longer building like impacts instead of just being like, hey, the world's on fire, donate money today. Like that is, you're going to forget about it tomorrow, even if you do donate or you don't donate. So like
it was just Easter and I do a lot of trail runs and hikes in the Verdugo Mountains. Do you know where that's at?
Verdugo? Nope.
Okay. So it's like do you know where Griffith is?
Yeah.
It's the mountain right across from it. If you're on any part of Griffith, you could see the Verdugo Mountains.
Oh, sweet. Okay.
So I went to go hike the day after Easter and it was trashed, bro. Like the park was trashed because people were celebrating Easter. They were doing their Easter egg hunts. And I was just, so I grew up a Boy Scout. I haven't talked about too much about it, but I want to talk about
high five.
It. Yeah, you too?
Yeah, man.
Let's go. Eagle Scout?
Fuck yeah.
Let's go. So I don't know many Eagle Scouts anymore, but I learned a lot of basic outdoor skills through Boy Scouts.
Heck yeah.
And one of the first things that you learn, especially if you go camping and stuff, is leave it better than you found it. And seeing this park just trashed made me so sad.
It's nuts. Yeah.
And I was just like, yo, you enjoyed this space. This space took care of your holiday. Like you got to enjoy it with your family, your friends, and you're going to disrespect it like that?
Therein lies the rub because they are outside. They're doing the thing. You know, they're outside enjoying nature and then they mess it up. How can you because that's like step 2. Basically, there's like the shut-ins that don't think of nature as somewhere to go at all. There's the people that go into nature sometimes and bring a giant cooler full of Coors Light and they leave half of the empty cans there. And then there's the people that pick up after themselves and appreciate the planet.
And then also pick up trash that isn't theirs.
Exactly. And then there's like the people that work into the positives and like pick up trash. So yeah, there's like so many stages. And like, how do you basically move these chess pieces to the next stage? And I mean, for me, I have videos where I'm like, what's up, mother huggers? Like, today we're going to pick up trash in the woods because these people are idiots. And like just making it silly and funny. I don't know.
How do we get the action for it, though? How do we get even just those park people to leave it better than they found it?
Make it cool.
Make it cool.
I don't really know. The biggest thing I think is just make it cool. I remember growing up, there was a period of like 7 years where like or not 7 years. There was like 2 years when I was in 7th or 8th grade that Al Gore came out with this whole inconvenient truth and being like, the world is screwed. Like, we're all going to hell in a handbasket. And I remember giving up recycling.
Giving up recycling.
Yeah. At the age of like in 7th grade, like to me, I was already like cynically embittered to be like, we're not doing anything differently. And I willfully like threw every Gatorade bottle that I had that day in the trash instead of the recycling. And I was like, I mean, now I want to punch my little 7-year-old in the face or 7th grade year old. But yeah, I mean,
so do you know much about recycling?
Yes.
Because so from what I understand, a lot of the recycling that we do put in recycle bins doesn't get used to recycle. Because like, for example, like a peanut butter jug or whatever, if it's not completely washed out, they can't use that.
Totally. Yeah.
Is that true?
100%.
Okay.
Yeah. Wash all your recycling out beforehand. So then it begs a question. If you're wasting a bunch of water to recycle something, how much benefit is there?
That's what I'm saying.
So it depends on, I mean, personally, it depends regionally on where you are. So in an area of LA that's super, super wasteful compared to the rest of the planet, but it is also super limited on water, that could be a very interesting case study for somebody. If you're in the middle of the desert, just buy less shit first. And then maybe it might be better to just leave that in a landfill than it would be to ship it halfway across the world to go into recycling facilities, wash it out, and take care of it just for the sake of someone putting like a special star on their chest to be like, I recycled.
Yeah. I have a buddy who does that. He puts a star on his chest every time he recycles because I had this one environmental science teacher in high school. We had the same one. And he was like, every soda can that you recycle, it's like 10 minutes of your television. He was like, what? And then he was like, he always prides himself on recycling just because that one teacher educated him on something so relatable. And that's one thing I think you do very well. It's like, you're comparing it to, for example, I'll just use the condom one because that was hilarious.
Like
you use that as a first aid kit, but something to put in your first aid kit, but you made like sexual jokes from it that it's something that a lot of people use for a totally different act.
Yeah, I mean, that's it. I mean, the education is the goal.
Yeah.
And for whoever, like, what's the medium? The medium is going to be Instagram and TikTok. It's going to be millennials and Gen Zers.
Yeah.
I make sex jokes.
Yeah.
That's what I do. I also have a kids channel. So those millennial parents can go to the kids channel and be like, oh, this is about icicles. It's not about like condoms and talking about his ex-girlfriends being evil.
Sure.
So it just depends on the audience. And like, I got my master's in business with an emphasis in marketing. And so recently, I got that in like 2020. So I kind of use that. There's so much of like a special like infrastructure when it comes to, I said infrastructure, like info. I didn't made that up, but
he did that on purpose, guys.
There we go. But learning about your demographics and how to target different things, I really learned a lot through marketing that helped with getting viral. Yeah, people find funny videos funny when we speak to like their level of humor.
Yeah.
I don't know.
What did you learn from business school that I guess directly impacts what you do now? Because there's a lot of people who have business degrees who I would argue it didn't help them at all in their business or helping other people's business. And it's kind of just a degree that they have.
Dude, I learned two things from business. I will never remember what S Corps and C Corps do. And like, I can't do that, but I can do, like the marketing strategy for making videos and educating people.
Okay.
10 out of 10. And also, I didn't realize how good at math I was. I like honestly had like tutors my entire life. I had I've never had an anxiety attack until I remembered back to when I was doing math in 6th grade and realized like I cried so hard some days where I couldn't go to school because math was so hard. And the fact that I had a bunch of jobs after that, like I worked towards just being who I was. And then I went back to get my master's degree and like the math was easy. It just blew my mind.
Well, business math is super simple.
Super simple and applicable. It's so applicable.
Yeah, just learning basic statistics can help you in a lot of areas of life.
Yeah.
Geometry and like physics and calculus, like all that shit I was really good at. I was the kid who like mastered all those math classes, but I'm just like, it's not applicable right now. I wish I paid attention more to accounting statistics, because now I'm going back and just trying to learn basic math to elevate my business, to do my books and all this stuff. And I'm just like, why did I pay attention to like all this calculus for so long?
Yeah.
But okay, let's break down that marketing strategies.
Let's do it.
So like, what did you say helped you? How did this marketing strategy help you grow your audience, your following, your business as well?
Yeah, I would say one word, because I actually did have a marketing job in environmental like conservation for the last 2 years before quitting my job and doing Instagramming full time. But every time that I talk to people, I'm like, oh, hey, what do you think? They ask me like, what do you think we should do for this strategy or this strategy? I'm like, focus on the value. What value are we giving the people that we are focusing on? And that value, like, it sounds so stupidly simple, but like the inherent value of what you're giving them. And sometimes if you're doing like an outdoor hike where you're bringing a bunch of people outside, what's the value? And like, you could say like, yeah, they want to get outside, but like, dude, they're going to get outside if they want to get outside, but they're paying money to come and hike with people. They're doing it because they want community, and they're doing it because like maybe they've got something free to do on like a Tuesday afternoon, which means that maybe they're retired. And so you want to like break down these demographics to be like, what is the value that we're actually giving these things? So we realized that people that are going outside for hikes, they want a sense of community more than anything else. They want to meet friends. They want to meet people that are like-minded. So it's just like every other meetup group. It could be about Dungeons and Dragons. It could be about playing video games. It just happens to be about hiking. So hiking is the proxy, but the value that we're giving is just them hanging out with each other. And so how can you facilitate it that way? And just seeing that the value that you want to give your customer might not be the value that they're trying to get from you. And so messing that up. So like for me, I'm giving them educational like knowledge. They want jokes. So we're doing that transaction right there.
How do you know that they don't want the educational knowledge?
Some do,
okay.
But I would say 60 to 70% of the folks that come onto my videos watch because it's funny or eye-catching first.
How do you analyze that?
Just the responses that come back. I've done like polls when like I'm like, hey guys, like why do you watch my videos? And then just like the flood comes in.
Yeah, I was looking at some of your comments today, and a lot of it's very positive.
Yeah, I try not to be any negative. I did one negative video recently and it got like 500,000 views. I'm like, shit, I don't want to get good viral negativity, but thanks, man. Yeah, it is. It's very little to be like, I don't touch climate change. I don't touch politics. I don't touch anything like social related. Like I'm here to talk about the planet. The planet doesn't give two shits about our causes.
Yeah. Why do you think people love negativity? Because people like negative news. They like things that are they don't necessarily like it, but it's a very attention grabbing.
Negativity is fast. It's fast and effective. Positivity takes time. And that's the thing that really grows. But negativity is like, you're stupid. And then as soon as you feel that, you're like, oh, he thinks I'm stupid. But if I'm like, listen, I think you don't give yourself enough credit. Like this podcast is freaking amazing. Like it's a bigger buildup for positivity.
Sure.
And yeah, I think it's just easier.
So what inspired you to, I guess, niche down on content creation of outdoors? Because business could be anything, bro. You can turn anything into a business. You could have done, you're very fit. You could have niched down into American Ninja Warrior. You could have done other aspects or niches. Like why the outdoors? Why making content about that?
It was always about the outdoors from the get-go. Ninja Warrior was all about getting fame to try to get myself to be the next Bill Nye. So all of this was just a proxy. Even like, I think from the age of like, when I was in sixth, like I would say sixth grade, like 12 years old, like right when puberty started to hit, I was like, I think I need to help the world. And I didn't know what that looked like. But as I grew up, I realized that like, I love exploration. I love wandering. I love getting out into new places. And then I realized that you could do that in real life and not just in video games, but that required you to have open spaces. It required you to go out and like explore places that aren't constantly getting trampled down and developed. And so all of this made you realize like, wow, I want to help the planet, I think.
Yeah.
And then so that slow realization over, I guess.
Where did that come from though? Like, did you have a mentor or a father figure or someone to like guide you into this direction?
Yeah, I mean, Boy Scout.
Okay.
That helped.
Yeah.
So I just grew up having that level of capability, which is rad.
Mm.
But
was it negatively looked upon when you were in Scouts as well? Because it was kind of nerdy when I was in it.
yeah, it was nerdy. Yeah. I would say because I went to a private Catholic school from
Likewise.
K through
8th grade.
12th.
12th. You
Yeah.
went through 12.
Yeah, the whole time.
Uniform and everything.
All boys high school.
Oh.
And then,
how was that experience?
It wasn't great.
Testosterone build up for years.
It was nuts. I mean, I can chum it up. I feel like with no matter what the dude is, like I can be like, oh, you're that kind of dude. Like I've dealt with you before. Like I can chat you up, but I can't talk to ladies for shit.
I feel like
I got
it's
better.
a skill.
Yeah. Oh, totally.
Yeah. I feel like it's just the amount of reps that you put in. Similar to
the amount of reps you put in. What a Nate thing to say. All right. Cool.
It's similar to the like working out or the ninja courses or the content creation. Cause like I look at your content, dude, and I'm like, oh, you've definitely spent enough writing and time to make it better. Like back, I don't know, 3-4 years ago, it wasn't nearly as good. Same with my podcast. It was really not as good as it is right now because I'm putting in the reps.
Yeah.
And I've heard this quote from, do you know who Alex Hormozy is?
No.
Business guy.
Cool.
And he says volume negates luck. So
Ooh.
So the more that you do, the better you become. And so many people spend so much time just like writing the scripts for their content or like really thinking about the coolest ideas. But the person who makes 10,000 pots is going to be better than the person who takes a long time making one pot.
Yeah, that's a good point.
You know?
Absolutely.
So
I believe that.
yeah,
Totally.
What else did you learn in Boy Scouts that you use today? Because like for me, I was an Eagle Scout and everything. And all I remember is how to pitch tents, like make fires, the outdoor codes and everything like that. Basic stuff. But I'm not nearly as integrated as you are right now.
Yeah, I mean, I would say the Boy Scouts was really like, it made you decide who you want to be. So for me, getting into this Boy Scout sphere, it broke away. Like, honestly, I was in the Boy Scouts with kids from the same like little tiny private school that I didn't hang out with at all. Some kids that I've never met that were in public school that I thought were just like these barbarian people because, you know, sometimes there's like that dichotomy when you grow up like that. And I think that being in the Boy Scouts made me realize what a leader I was.
How so?
What, like, in a situation, did people gravitate towards me? And like, honestly, not really. But I was the one that was like a consistent presence. I was the one that, because I did like performances from a young age at like doing theater from like the age of 5 till like 15. I was a great public speaker just from like immediate young age. Like, I don't know. Have you ever read the book, The King Killer Chronicles?
No.
Anyways, it's this kid that grew up in a traveling troupe and he basically just becomes a really good performer and he uses that performance skills to like leverage his way out of poverty once everybody dies in his family. And so it's not a spoiler that happens in like the first like scene. So I'm sorry.
Every heroic story.
Exactly.
They have a skill that they leverage to get them out of that shitty situation.
And so that was for me. I mean, I was by no means in a shitty situation in life, but I used my public speaking and just like, I felt like I had a leadership quality. And once I went to college specifically for, the major was Parks and Rec Management with an emphasis in outdoor education and leadership.
So this literally has been from the get. This is your purpose. This is
No, I'm gonna die literally like on this hill, like literally. I'm gonna die on this hill. But also I gotta say, video games helped me become a better environmentalist.
How so?
I love exploration. And when I'm done hiking in the middle of the day, I'll go home and it's dark outside now. I will turn on Skyrim. I'll turn on
I don't even know what that is.
Far Cry, like these open world games that there's open quests. There's just places you can travel all across. I grew up with RuneScape. I don't know if you played that.
Yeah, I played RuneScape for a bit.
Dude,
yeah.
I played it like last week.
Is it still a big thing?
No.
No. Okay.
No one like there's like 100 worlds in RuneScape. No one uses 99 of them. There's only one world left.
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of sad.
I mean, I treat life like a video game now. I've talked about it multiple times. And it's like you develop these skills to increase your coins, your bank account. And
exactly.
And to leverage your business or to leverage the person you want to become. You know? And if that's through, I have a buddy named Tommy. You met Tommy. You know Tommy ASHMAN, right?
Yeah, dude. I love him.
Yeah. So Tommy's been on multiple times.
Oh, sick.
And he literally makes big swords.
Yeah.
And he does it for a living. And he treats this world like a video game, and he's living it exactly like how you would play a video game, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm just like, it's a real thing.
Yeah.
Like you can level up in life just like a video game.
And I think part of that's just being an opportunist and being able to pivot. I mean, yeah, he made like, I think a couple videos on TikTok that started this all, right? And it got like super viral. He's still viral. Yeah. He's going crazy. He's going to pass me soon, I'm sure. And he's like so dedicated to it. And then he went to that Craven, there was some kind of Craven premiere that he got invited to, and he looked the fucking identical to that Taylor Johnson guy. Yeah. So that was rad. I mean, he's totally like physically embodying what he wants to be.
Yeah.
I admire that.
The thing that he has a difficult time with is speaking in front of a camera. And those soft skills, those skills of speaking and being a leader. But what works out in his favor, Mr. Beast talks about this all the time, is Tommy has swords being ordered from like Brazil, from China.
Really?
And it's because his content doesn't need English to resonate with those people. It's just this guy swinging a sword. And so if you look at Mr. Beast's most viral videos, it's just, for example, him with his candy bar. He runs with a small candy bar, then a bigger candy bar, then a candy bar that's 20 feet long. Yeah. And there's no words in it. And so I was like, oh, like, dude, this is a superpower, because you could reach all these audiences who don't speak English.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know how I could do that, but I would like to, because I've seen the same videos talking about. He's like, dude, no matter how cool I make these videos, the ones that have no words do the best. Yeah. And
it's because other people could relate to it. For example, if someone in China gets Outdoor Anthony clip on their thing, they don't understand
they
it.
They can't. Yeah. Yeah. And they're like, as an educator, how do you do that? What a challenge.
Yeah. And I struggle to realize, like, there's dope ass outdoors stuff all over the world. And your kind of niche is like right now in the US, for which people can understand, but the world is much bigger. Yeah. So I feel like if you can get into those spaces and those things, like, for example, Mr. Beast translates all his content into a ton of languages. Yeah. And I was like, oh, maybe you could do that.
Yeah. No, I'd love to do that. Yeah. I would like to do a video of me trying to do that. I think that would be the funny video of me being like reading it like in Russian and just doing an awful job.
I feel like there's like AI and technology that could do it for you now.
Yeah, but I feel like as Outdoor Anthony, I should do it very poorly and like a manual way to see how it goes. But yeah.
Is there any like skill sets right now that you're trying to learn in the outdoors?
Bow fishing.
Bow fishing.
Yeah. So most people with bow fishing have like a really complicated setup where the reel, like a reel that shoots that throws a line. See how great I am at already talking about this? Is attached to the bow, but instead I put it on a bracer on my arm and it shoots out kind of like a spider web. Okay. And so I attach that to the arrow instead. But bow fishing is super like legally regulated for certain animals, and then you can't certain really do it in like lakes. Yeah, for different fish. And yeah, you can't do it everywhere. Yeah, it's really interesting. But I want to try it. Yeah, that'd be so fun.
Is there a benefit to doing it like that versus just regular fishing? Or is it just because you want to shoot a fish with some cool thing that comes out of your arm and kills them?
That number one. Yes, that'd be rad. But also, I'm personally not a fan of sport fishing. And the idea of like hooking something and being like, that was cool, and I'm like throwing it back. I respect that, but I will only fish because I will eat the fish. We don't do that with like lions. We're not like, I got him in the leg. Yeah. That's great. Have fun in the wild again, buddy.
I feel like the argument to that though is there's way more fish.
There's plenty of fish in the sea. That is true, Nate. There's plenty of fish in the sea.
Than lions.
Yeah, but a lot of these animals, I mean, I can't really bow fish in the ocean as much because it's deep.
Are you doing it in Tahoe?
I was thinking about it, but yeah, like I said, there's so many regulations, and half of Tahoe's in Nevada. Okay. So I'm in California, living in California on that California side, and I'm like, crap. If I cross like a stream and I'm on the other side of I'm on another state, I need a different permit. I need different licensures for different parts, and it's pretty tech. Like, yeah.
So are you spending a lot of attention nowadays on that skill?
Not in the slightest. I
No.
bought a reel and it's sitting in my garage waiting to get done. But I wanted to do this last year and I got super sidetracked. And this is just like a pet project. I would say the big thing that I'm really working on is this. That's, I mean, just building clout and getting my agency and like agents and like trying to get into a bigger platform.
Yeah, what inspired, I guess, like what was the tipping point of going all in on content creation? Because
this January. So like 4 months ago.
So it's kind of new.
Yeah. So I've been viral, I guess you could say.
What's viral?
Been getting consistent. I would say after like my third video where I got over a couple million views, I'm like, all right, well, if I can recreate this, that's how I feel I've been going viral. So I probably considered it like after like 50,000, but it's such an arbitrary number. Like no one should ever compare themselves to numbers. But yeah, once I realized I can consistently get attention through education, I'm like, all right, that's cool.
Yeah.
So
what are the characteristics of these viral clips that you believe make them so not necessarily entertaining, but so viral? So that is being able to attract this algorithm to get out into the world to so many people to see.
You're asking for the magic sauce. Huh?
Yeah, asking for the magic sauce. People want to know the magic sauce, bro.
I don't know. I mean, honestly, my brand is being super genuine. And honestly, I think a lot of times when things are overproduced, people automatically think in their brain like, oh, somebody's about to sell me something. Like the highest view counts on some stuff is like the grainy ass photo of someone like breaking their shin on their skateboard in the garage sometimes. And like,
I'm very defensive with that. Like once I have that feeling, I skip.
Yeah. Of which way?
The feeling of like, oh, if someone's going to sell me on something, I immediately swipe.
Yeah.
Because like half your content on Instagram is ads now.
Exactly. Yeah. And I mean, it's an arms race. It always is. So the advertisers want to make commercials for TV. Now no one's on TV. So people want to make commercials in between YouTube videos. That's rad. But now there's a short form. So now they want to have ads in between. Well, that's not going to work. You have to have ads inside. And then once that doesn't happen, then like, it's going to get so ingrained. And now there's probably going to be more of like a spokesmanship where, I mean, honestly, this would be rad if someone did this for me, but like, we'll pay you $50,000 to just wear the stuff through your videos for the next year. Like that'd be fun. And it'd be very unobtrusive.
Is there big outdoor brands that you would want to work with?
Yeah.
Like a Patagonia?
Patagonia would be rad. Honestly, if like some throwing knife companies would be working with me, I think my highest viewed video is about me throwing knives.
Yeah.
As much as I want to make it educational about nature, people just want attacking stuff.
Yeah.
You know?
How did you get into throwing knives?
My buddy in the Boy Scouts taught me, and then I just went whole hog on it and taught myself.
Did it start off with throwing axes?
No,
really?
Actually.
It started with knives.
Yeah.
Okay.
I remember specifically, I was at an archery range where we were camping and we were in between shooting arrows, and I wanted to throw a knife so bad and I didn't have one that was big. We all have these pocket knives that like the size of your fingernail.
Yeah. In your blood circle.
Yeah. In the blood circle. There we go, Nate. I ended up finding scissors and trying to break the scissors in half. So I had two long ones to throw. Doing this with my hands. I sliced both my hands open.
Oh shit.
And I remember my dad always like, I know you came back from Boy Scout camp. I mean, he was there most of the time, but he's like, I know you came back from Boy Scout because every single finger had a giant Band-Aid on it. And it was fun. I think that really helped me. This guy was just like, every like half step you take away from the target is like, every step you take away from the target is a half rotation of the blade. If you just can do that math in your head. So every even number of steps you are from the target, you throw it by the blade or by the handle.
By the handle.
And then if you're an even number of steps, you throw it by the blade.
Like literal feet or like
steps?
Steps. Okay.
Yeah. So if you're 4 steps away from the target, you throw it by the handle. If you're 6 steps, also throw it by the handle. But if you're 5 steps or 3 steps, you throw it by the blade.
What's the furthest knife throw that you've landed?
I've done some fun 8 steps.
Okay.
Honestly, after to get the arc into it, there's like way too much math involved. And I'm not like
the wind.
I've done further shots, but like confidently being like, okay, I'm going to be able to throw it from this way with this technique. Yeah. Like 8 steps. So that'd be, let's see, a pace for me is 2.5 feet. So 2.5 times 8 would be 4 times 5 be 20 feet. Yeah.
Anthony's good at math, guys.
Or I did that wrong, and please check me on that math.
So where do you come up with these content ideas? Like, for example, the paperclip throwing of Daredevil.
Oh, I mean, it's funny because I always wanted to do that video of like, can you throw paper clips like Daredevil or actually like Bullseye?
Yeah.
And
if you guys don't know, it's the old school Daredevil with who was it? Ben Affleck?
Yeah, Ben Affleck and the guy that
and then Elektra. What's her name?
Jennifer Gardner.
Jennifer Gardner. I don't know the Scottish guy, but that was one of the coolest movies.
Yeah, dude. Growing up, that was amazing. Yeah, I had that. I watched that, Daredevil, Elektra, and Catwoman.
Oh yeah.
And like just like the era of just really slimy leather people.
Oh,
just the best.
They were hot.
They were hot, dude. My first crush was on Kim Possible. My second one was on Catwoman.
I think all people our age should know those movies.
Please, please.
But. So how was throwing paperclips, bro?
Oh,
how long did it take you to land it?
It was supposed to be a Mythbuster being like, you can't do this. Because the new season of Daredevil comes out. Within the first scene, Bullseye throws a paperclip.
Yeah.
And I'm like, they did this in the last movie. Did you steal this from the movie or is this a trope from the comic books?
Yeah.
And so I ended up... Water.
In the comic books, do they throw paperclips?
I don't know, dog.
Okay.
I don't know. Maybe. But I had it like mulling about my brain, like, I wonder if I could throw paper clips. And then when the second time it happened on a separate network on like a TV show version, I'm like, yeah, I'm doing this. And I actually didn't get it first. Like some other content creators were like, why does Daredevil keep getting paper clips thrown at him?
Yeah.
And I'm like, dang it. But yeah, I was supposed to be like, the weight is super insignificant.
It's
flat,
super light. Yeah.
Like there's not a pointy side to it. And there's no weight. So like you can't puncture anything. And then I'm like, see, watch. And I chuck it from like a 4-step and it sticks into my foam target. I'm like, fuck, I got to do the whole video now. I thought that was going to be like a 4-second video. And so I did the whole thing and it was fun. But at the very end, I'm like, all right, let me see if this goes in my hand. And I just chuck it into my hand. I'm like, it doesn't work.
Yeah. How big of a perfectionist are you when it comes to creating content?
I am not, because I know that I'm really good at editing. So what happens is like really crappy things will happen. Like I would say 50% of the time, I'm almost in a bad mood filming because I know something's not going to go well. Because so much of my stuff has to do with, number one, the weather being okay. Because I film outside all the time. Yeah. So is there wind? If there's wind, I can't film.
Do you do mics or no?
No.
Oh, so is it all through your phone?
I've done every video with this phone with nothing special on it.
Really?
And it's fine. It's been working. I want to make a video on like low budget influencing to be like, dude, use your phone. That's it. That's all you need. Like, yeah, you could use a tripod. Before I had a tripod, I would get a shovel and stab it into the ground and then tape my phone to the top of the shovel and have that as my tripod.
So there's like no excuse for people out there who are saying, I need this to make content.
No, I bought a ring light and I don't use it. I did buy a mic and I'm like, I'm too loud. Like you're probably gonna have to edit this later and be like, Jesus, fuck, he's so close to that mic. But yeah, no excuse. Except for if you don't have anything cool to say. I mean, find what you want to say that's cool.
Do you come up with scripts?
Yeah, I would say half and half.
Like, do you come up with those punchlines on your own, just like out in the woods by yourself?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes I want the joke to be, there's one that I'm wearing a yellow shirt and I'm throwing a Frisbee and I'm shooting the Frisbee. And the punchline joke was supposed to be me turning around and then on my shirt it says, farts are just food souls escaping the prison of your ass.
I saw that.
And then I was like, that's funny. But my mom just came home. She started yelling at me when I was filming. I'm like, Mom, go back out and do that again. And like interrupt me while I'm filming. And so that was actually the punchline. And so I think there's something to that where it's like, there is the punchline that the viewer knows you want them to see. And then if something awful happens or something silly happens or like a branch falls on my head or snow falls on my head, that's usually the ending punchline. And that final joke is so vital. Usually the end joke and the first joke is super vital, and then in between there's usually like a nihilistic, like silly joke that they can identify with.
Yeah. And then do you pay attention to hooks at all?
No.
I
don't do anything. I don't do like trends. No, I've been trying to not do trending audio, but my publicist recently, she's like, dude, you're going viral. Just like you're fighting with one hand behind your back. Just do the trends like a little bit. So I'm doing a little bit.
Why are you fighting not to do it?
I want to make my stuff timeless and evergreen, you know? Like 50 years from now, if my kids see my video and they have to do a book report about me, and that's how, I mean, basically that's how we're going to have to do that in the future. I don't want them to be like, he kept talking about Dune and I don't know what that is. Like, you know?
Yeah.
So
no, that makes sense. Is it like your educational source as well? Like, do you see a cool plant out in the woods and you're like, I don't know what that is. I'm going to research it and then make a piece of content about it.
Yeah. iNaturalist is a huge help because it's an app that just, it's kind of like Pokemon Go for actual plants and animals. So people are like, oh, I found a plant here and an animal here that was really awesome. So I did a video on snakes.
Yeah.
I literally am like, shit, where's a snake that's close by? And I looked on this app and it's like Tinder. I'm like, oh, there's a baby rubber boa hanging out at Angora Ridge. All right, I'm going to go
How does that work out?
I found a snake. Yeah.
No, I know. Like how does the maps or whatever app you use let you know that there's a snake in this place?
Somebody just, it goes off sightings.
Oh, so similar to like Waze or something like
exactly,
that. Really?
Yeah. So like when
there was
a
car crash of us, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Same thing?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, but they're like, there's a snake in this area, or people have spotted bears here, but bears are everywhere. It's hard with like super regionally specific things like snakes don't travel very much. What would be another good example? Different birds that have nests. If you want to look for different kind of like eagles or peregrine falcons are usually found on like cliff sides. And so I'd be like, all right, I got to find the cliff sides in this area and see if I could spot them. But yeah, man, it's kind of fun. There's a real life Pokemon Go out there.
What's the importance of understanding and identifying these types of plants and animals and snakes in the wild?
I did an archery class and there was 40 kids from inner city LA. And a deer came by. It was beautiful. It was a majestic moment. Everyone's like, oh. I turned around and one girl was sobbing out of fear because she thought this deer was going to kill us. So
she didn't watch Bambi.
But she was so taken out of the pale. She was so taken out of the pale of just like no basic animals. And identification helps. I mean, to just be like, oh, Nate, we're on a walk and be like, oh, that is a gopher snake. Like, it's got fangs, but we're fine. And like most people would freak out from a snake, run it over, run away, or stomp it. And the fact that people are empowered to not kill that animal, I think is fantastic. My brother just told me a story today that his person that comes to help clean his house every week, she came in and saw a praying mantis on the back porch that the kids were playing with, and the kids went inside and the praying mantis was out there. She goes outside with the broom and starts smacking it and killing it.
Oh shit.
And she's like, animal, animal, animal. And like, he's like, dude, I was about to fire her. Like, that sucks. Yeah. But
well, it's all education, right?
It's all education.
So
it's just awareness.
For me, a big thing was bees. And I really was afraid of bees because like when you watch cartoons or like whatever, you're like, oh, they're gonna sting you and like you're gonna die, right? And I run this one route all the time, and there's a ton of bees that just go around this like water fountain.
Nice.
And a buddy of mine just like walked through the bees and just drank the water and just kind of just moved them nice and slow.
That's epic.
And I was like, what the fuck, bro? Like they're gonna sting you. He's like, no, like they don't do that really.
Yeah.
Like if you're walking calm and moving through it, and then I'll see some content of like these beekeepers moving the queen bee away and like taking care of them and like moving them to different places and not stinging them at all.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, like what we've been taught through these mediums of movies and cartoons and like whatever is incorrect. Like these things, these bees help the world. You know, they produce honey as well as they're just good for the environment.
Yeah,
you know?
they're pollinators. They help all the plants grow. But that's it. I mean, that's really, you came to the heart of what I do, like why I do it. There's so much, not only disinformation out there, but cultural stigmas. I mean, even I was in Indonesia like in September, and even the folks that live in the rainforest have like super big taboos and stigmas about animals that I know are absolutely harmless. And
like what?
Oh boy. I don't really want to touch on like local cultures and stuff, so I probably won't say it. Yeah. But another one is like, I mean, there's stigmas. It's not just the white people and like the Western civilization. In a lot, I mean, I would say most of the Western tribal cultures that were in the United States, owls are a super bad sign. It's a very bad sign of things to come. It's a really bad omen. And so they're like mad when owls are around. And owls are gorgeous. They're majestic.
Also, they're kind of harmless. Like every time I've seen an owl, at least they're not coming to attack you.
And they're pest controllers. I mean, they're actually amazing to be around your house. So I mean, there's all these different levels, and I'm not saying any stigmas towards tribal folks either. I mean, I love them. I have I almost got a minor in Indigenous studies, and then I was like, I'm just some white dude. I don't need this. I don't want to mansplain what Indigenous cultures are to people.
100%.
But yeah, there's stigmas everywhere you look,
and you're just trying to demystify them.
Yeah, take it at face value. I'm not here to push any agenda except for, hey, get outside, and if you like it, then help me save it.
Yeah. What are the craziest things or stories that you've seen in the wild?
Oh boy. I went camping and ran into a mountain lion.
Okay.
That was pretty intense. I was actually around here. I was the Bobcat Fire around Hoagie's campground. It's by where did they film season 2 of You? What was that? Sierra Madre. Okay. So over there, there's a backpacking route if you go up in the mountains, and they ended up, it all burned down, but it's all coming back. But right before it burned down, I went out there and I was super alone. And I was just laying in a hammock next to my fire. And then I moved to the fire to read a book, and I was hanging out. And then I looked to my hammock again, and there's these 2 giant eyes like this far apart looking back at me, and they're reflecting back, and I can't see anything else. I know there's bears in the area because it's super habituated with bears. So I walked over there and I was like, hey, bear. And it was a mountain lion. It was a very obvious mountain lion. And it was laying like a fat cat, like under a sunbeam underneath my hammock, like not caring at all. It was like,
how far away from you?
I was probably at this point 10 feet from it.
Oh, really close.
Yeah. But it was just like resigned. Like it wasn't, maybe it was habituated, and it could have just been a totally different thing, but like it just sat there. It had no interest in me. I also had my arrow and like my arrows and my bow and stuff. So I was like not going to run away. Like I felt like I was capable enough to deal with it. Maybe I wasn't, who knows? So I went back to the fire and started reading again, and just like 15 feet from a mountain lion. And we sat together for like, I would say 20 minutes before I finished a few chapters. And then I'm like, it moved a little bit further back so I could go back to my hammock. And I said to myself, I'm not staying here tonight. So
yeah, no.
I packed all my stuff up and then walked backwards all the way home. And I saw his eyes follow me from the ridge, like maybe a quarter mile after I passed the campsite.
You weren't scared at all?
I was terrified. Yeah.
Okay.
But
so what?
All you can do is everything right.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, I feel pride knowing that like my first instinct was to be like, fuck you, a fucking animal, I'm gonna shoot you. Like I always think to myself, like, if I had a typewriter, never had a typewriter around the woods instead of a bow and arrow, like how would I show myself differently? Like would I write notes to people instead? Like the things that we bring with us into nature really show who we are. And the fact that I didn't be like, I'm gonna shoot you, you know, made me feel good about that.
That's crazy, bro.
Yeah.
What's the importance to you, or what does it do for you to go in the woods or nature alone and experience it without, sometimes you don't have service. Yeah. You know, and you're set up with like a fire in your camp or a hammock. What's that experience like? What does it do for you? Yeah. It makes you realize how little you need. One of the biggest realizations I had was when I was, right before I got my degree. One of these guys, his name was Nathan, and he was telling me, he's like, there's never been a better thought in my brain when I was right about to finish the Pacific Crest Trail, which is thousands of miles long. I did part of it.
Did you?
Yeah.
Sick.
I did like 35 miles of it.
Oh, sick. Yeah, me too. Perfect. What part?
I don't remember.
It's all good. And he was like, I had everything I owned because I sold everything that I owned. I didn't have a place to go back to because I didn't want to pay rent for 3 months that I wasn't going to use it.
Oh, did you do the whole thing?
And he did the whole thing. And
how long does that take?
I think like 3 months.
Okay.
Yeah. And he said, everything I own is sitting on a table. And I feel like I can get rid of more. And I mean, look at all the crap we have, man.
We have a ton. Yeah.
Like, it's not just about like the material things, but what binds us? What binds us to where we are at? I mean, family does. That's a big thing. But like right now, I'm going to drive to Tahoe tomorrow, and I have everything that I would be happy owning in my car. And I know I have way too much stuff in my car. And like, I could probably boil it down to like 5 things that I would need in order to survive. And I would be just as happy.
Would you consider yourself a minimalist?
No, I'm messy as hell. I've got crap coming out of the ears, not literally, but just stuff.
Yeah.
No, I'm not. But when I get the chance to, it's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So repeat that. So what does it do for you again?
Getting out in nature makes you realize what the world really is and how much you actually do need. Very little.
Yeah.
So nature is just the ultimate equalizer. You go in with what you have and hope it's enough.
Yeah. And so realizing that you don't need that much to survive and like live and thrive and be like a happy person, you know, because I'm assuming that you being out there and experiencing nature life with the small necessities that you have, you're pretty happy.
Yeah, it's the happiest I've ever been. I would say the happiest I've ever been was I bought a $50 rowboat, and I still have it. And just
$50 rowboat?
Yeah, like inflatable rowboat from Big Five.
So I was about to say, I feel like rowboats can be pretty pricey.
No, it's a piece of shit. And I put it in a backpack and just started hiking, and I found a lake the first time, and the second time I went back to it with the rowboat, and it was just me on the lake, and it was like the start of the fall, so no one was around because it was a little cold, but the lake was so warm. And I just blew up the rowboat and then just laid on the middle of the lake, and it was just the most serene alpine lake. And I had like snacks, food, a guitar, and my bow. And like, if the world ended that day, like obviously I'd be pissed because my family's gone, but like that's it. That's it. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. You know, that's it.
What's the importance about being alone without someone there? Because like when I go camping, I really like having another person there. Like if it's at a friend or a group of people that I really value or share similar qualities with, like who like the outdoors. I don't want to go outdoors with someone who doesn't like it, because then there's that person like, when are we going back? Or like, you know?
Yeah. What's the quote? It's like, if you're alone and you're feeling lonely, that means you're in bad company.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm like, fuck, I need to be better about myself. I'm very hard on myself. I feel like all of us that make content sometimes are like, what am I not doing better? You know?
I feel like most people, regardless if you make content or not.
Yeah, I'm sure. Actually, I would say the more you consume content, the harder you are with yourself.
100%.
But, yeah, I would say that. And being alone in the outdoors is great because it gets like self-resiliency. I mean, I don't personally recommend it all the time. I would say after day 4, I start to hear voices. And it's not like, hey, like, who are you? Like, it's more about the stream starts sounding like high-pitched, like, hey, like every once in a while. And you're like, what's that? You know?
What have you learned about yourself about being alone in the wild?
They've been times where I'm like, I might die today. And then I'm like, nut up. Like, I need to finish this. I'm not going to die here. And like, knowing that about myself, being like, I'm not the person to cave when like panic doesn't consume me. And I really love that I know that about myself. And I think if more people found that out, they would also realize how little they actually need in order to feel that. You don't need all the stuff around you.
Yeah. What's the mission when you go out? Like, is it always content right now, or is there something deeper? Sometimes
my number one mission, I would say most of the time, especially when it's snowy, my mission every time I go out is find a place to sit. Because if it's wet, if it's snowy, it's hard. It's super hard. So if I find a nice enough stump, that is the goal that day. It's never... I would say it's about making content. Sometimes I'll never like not go with my little tripod. Like I could fit it in my backpack and it's fine. But I would say the goal is to just remind me who I am every time I go out there. That's it. Yeah. But I like to say like my mom's always like, why do you go out there? I'm like, I'm going to find a place to sit is what I used to say when I was like a teenager.
Yeah.
And I think there's something nice to that.
It's something beautiful to that, bro.
Thanks.
What role does fitness play in it?
You got to be capable. That's it. I mean, I'm sure it's the same thing with all the things that you do. I think there is a nutritionist that I knew, and she's like, when there's kids that have severe obesity, those parents have imprisoned that child in their own body.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's conditions and stuff that variate in like different conditions, but the genuine truth of that is you are limiting who they are and who they could be as a person just to explore, like, yeah, get fat later in life. Do exactly what you want to do in life. But when it comes to a kid exploring this planet, if you make them morbidly obese, they will be morbidly not okay with how the world is.
Yeah. I have a buddy, we just talked about this. His niece is 7 years old and probably like 130 pounds. And she can't move well, you know? And like, she seems super happy, like downing donuts, and like they had dinner and it was like spaghetti and meatballs, but she didn't eat that. It was only garlic bread. And her mom's just like eat whatever you want, honey. And like, cool. But also, like, when this girl grows up and she has the same habits that she has right now, socially, it's going to be difficult, you know?
Totally.
Physically, like, you can't climb a mountain. And some of my happiest days are on the top of a mountain looking at a sunrise or a sunset, bro.
Yeah.
You know?
But there could be something said that people that overcome that are often better off as well. I mean,
sure.
Goggins is a huge example of that, right?
Dope. Yeah. But the thing is, the percentage has to be so small.
Bingo.
Has to be so small.
So what is your thing? I guess we're formulating now. What's your thing when you're younger to make you break out from what you're currently in to make you feel special enough? And for me, that was like suburbia, you know? I mean, the fact that I got to like break out and live in the middle of the woods and like I'm super happy and doing well. Or somebody that is really obese as a kid that breaks out of that. I mean, Henry Cavill is the same thing. He was like the fat kid, right?
Was he?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. And now he's goddamn Superman.
He's Superman.
Well, not anymore, but still. He's my Superman. He's my Superman.
How does one like get that tipping point to change? Like for me, I was never like a super fat kid, you know, but I remember my mom for breakfast days, like she didn't know better. Like she gave us like toast with butter and then she put sugar on top of it, which is basically a donut, bro.
Yeah,
you
interesting.
know? And we'd have that every morning for breakfast. And that was just normal, you know, and that made me have the body that I had for a long time until I educated myself on fitness and nutrition and all this stuff. And I was like, I was eating that every single day. Like, what the fuck, dude?
Yeah.
You know?
Imagine what that does to your brain chemistry as a developing kid, too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
Back to education point, though. Like, how do we get that education out there?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I think this superhero culture is really cool. Because
what's the superhero culture?
I mean, every other movie is about superheroes right now. So when you see all this stuff happening, you're like, this is what, I mean, it's CGI a lot of the times, but this is what the human body could possibly get to. So for me personally, and steroids. Yeah. But when the show Arrow came out, I'm obviously literally wearing a green sleeveless hoodie right now. But
you definitely look like Arrow.
Thanks, man. But I wore this before I watched the show. And it was just like such an identity. Fun fact, me and the Green Arrow actually have the same birthday.
Oh, that's dope.
I started shooting arrows when I was like 12. I didn't know any of the superheroes or anything. I just thought it was an amazing thing to do. But I saw how fast he shot on the show.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, shoot, that's attainable. And I started practicing. And I got down to like shooting an arrow less than 2 seconds, like super fast.
Like from the quiver.
Yeah. Little did I realize that the dude on the show has never shot a single arrow in his life. Those are all CGI arrows.
Really?
Yeah. But you know, you hold yourself to these standards. Sometimes it's complete ludicrous and it's not real.
Yeah.
But
sometimes you could actually do it.
But sometimes you can do it. And like, what's that for everyone else? You know, what's the thing that you can attain that like you didn't know was impossible? Like there's a curse knowing too much sometimes. Like try it out, do crazy stuff, especially archery specifically. The way I shoot, if I go to an archery range, which I was at yesterday, some people are like, why aren't you aiming? I'm like, I actually do aim. I take like a very like quick second while I have an anchor point and I shoot. And I was told like the other day at a range that I'm one of the best archers you've ever seen. And this guy was like 70. I was like, this is the most flattering moment of my life. But no one shoots like that because it's very orthodox. You know, when people grow up doing archery, it's like for a purpose or for a competition. Like I just like to shoot because it's energy release, you know? So yeah, sometimes knowledge of what something is limits you a little bit.
Do you use a scope or anything, or is it very traditional type?
Traditional bare bow. Should have brought it in. It wouldn't fit in this frame because like it's taller than me. But yeah, dude, it's fun.
There's something cool about, or I guess primal about putting something in a target.
Yes.
If that's a gun, for me, I really love golf, bro. Like I grew up playing golf, but like, or even basketball, bro. Like there's a target. You have something you're putting in a target, and I don't know what it is because a lot of sports are like that. Soccer, you're trying to get into net, like a puck into a net, like all these things. And I'm like, these people, the feeling that I get of like draining a 40-foot putt is probably similar to you, a 40-yard shot.
Yeah, I was shooting at 40 yards yesterday. That's a really good example.
Like it is. It's that feeling, just like like,
yeah, and it's addicting. I mean, sometimes I'm like, let's end on a good shot today, and I'll shoot and I nail it, and then I'm about to walk away, and I feel like a pull in my chest. I'm like, I need to shoot more. It has to happen, and I think that need for such arbitrary accomplishment, like objectively, but subjectively, that is like keep going to me. Like, yeah,
well,
you're getting better.
There's something deeper to it too. Cause like if you have some goal or aim in life and you continue on that path of just like going towards that target, at least for me, that's how it makes sense.
Yeah, no, you're in my brain. You're warmed into my brain. That's exactly what I think.
Yeah. And I'm just like, it's very parallel to real life and similar to video games. I feel like these games are teaching us the better you get at those games can also make you better at life.
100%.
You know,
yeah.
Get better at this skill, you know?
Yeah. The biggest challenge with education for me is like people that don't have time for these extracurricular activities. Those are the folks that are unfortunately like buying the crappy products. Those are the ones that are doing unsustainable practices that I can't get outside because they're bogged down with a job or 2 kids.
Yeah.
Like, how do you get
Multiple
that
jobs.
to work? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, I mean, where does that line of like who I can't educate? I'm like, well, personally, there's no one I can't educate. I'll do it.
Yeah.
But how do I get
their
to
attention?
People? Yeah.
I personal trained this mechanic at UCLA when I went there, and he had a 9-hour job. He had 8 kids. He had a 9-hour job at UCLA. Then he had another, I think like 6 or 7-hour job after. He was like 350 pounds. And even getting him to come to this, so UCLA has workers' comp.
Okay.
And he was injured on the job. And what's really cool about this program is they give you personal training sessions to help you like rehab or your injury.
Yeah.
As well as like you could use it for losing weight or getting stronger and all this jazz. And he wouldn't show up sometimes for this like free dope ass like training session because he just didn't have enough time.
Yeah.
You know, and I pride myself on he lost 50 pounds within the time that I trained him.
That's awesome.
Super sick. But he's having 3 to 4 hours a night of sleep. He has no other time for extracurricular activities. And he has all these kids. And I'm just like, how does someone like that, after we stopped training, he gained all the weight back. You know, how does someone like that do something like archery or do something like making fitness part of their lifestyle?
Yeah.
You know, because like I feel like my days go by like that.
Yeah.
Because like I feel like I don't have enough time, but I don't have kids. I don't have like a girlfriend.
Isn't
right
that
now.
nuts?
And I'm just like, how are they doing it?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's a couple ways I could look at it is like the people that have that grind where they have to keep doing that. Like my brother's that way. He just found out he's having twins and he already has 2 kids. He's like, I want 3 kids and that's it. And then they came back and they're like, oh, it's twins. Like, good luck, brother.
Cool. Twins in the family. That'd be sick.
Yeah. And I'm like, all right, let's work on this. I actually told them, if you want to just like pawn one off to me and send them to Tahoe every once in a while, we could just trade out. You could have 3 kids and then I could be the funkle. And that's fine. But yeah, like how do you get to those people? And for me, there's could be 2 approaches where number 1, you meet them where they're at, where like you could become the teacher in their school. Like the kids are going to go to school. The guys are going, or whoever's going to go to work, and then like integrate into their lifestyle a little bit more and make those small changes. Or I could educate the people that have that extracurricular time, which are people of higher economic status that possibly will associate more with like decision makers and work from like top down and top up. You know, I'm sure there's a lot of different philosophies on how you educate folks that don't have the time to be educated. Like, yeah, we're both doing the same struggle with just different tools.
Yeah, I think about that a lot because right now our attention is the most important thing. You know, and that's currency nowadays. Like you're making a living off selling people's attention. Yeah. Or I guess buying people's attention.
I guess I'm selling. It depends on what I'm doing in the day. Yeah. And I'm trying to be as chill about it as possible. But I never want people to pay. You know, I always like if there's a big old brand that's going to pay me money to like educate people, 10 out of 10. Yeah. Like, great. But the moment I'm like, hey guys, give me $5 a month so I can make funny videos. Like I feel like the people that...
Would you make a product at all? Like, would you make a bow or like, I saw that you have a book.
Yeah, I got a kid's book. So that's kind of where I'm meeting the kids where they're at. Like, I think my tagline for the kids book is like, be a good parent. Just buy this book. Yeah. Like,
what is the book? Tell us about the book.
Yeah, it's called My Epic Nature Journal, and it's a kid's education. Like it's a nature journal, so there's reflection pages, there's activity pages, but most importantly, it's just like a little accountability thing of getting outside. So instead of like, let's say you have a kid and you're stressed beyond belief and you have an hour to play with them in the day, like you can be like, we can go to the park, and like they're not dogs. They're gonna be like, what's the park? Like, why do we go to the park? We're gonna sit in the grass. Like, instead you could have this book that is like, listen, today we're gonna do the challenge of making a tree fort. And they're gonna be like,
oh, so what's in the book? Like
activities. So like how-tos. So how to make a tree fort. There's like physical challenges of like how far can you jump doing a standing long jump, or like how long can you hang on a bar for?
Super sick.
And so I talk about like why different animal hands are really great for certain things, or why different animal tails are good for different things. And then
so these activities also have education in it.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's one about like the pit organs of a viper. And so these pit organs are the sixth sense. So if you've ever seen a snake and they have like little like mustache dots on their face.
Are they holes?
They're holes. Yeah. Those are heat sensors that work through the ground to like heat sense other snakes and other animals.
Okay.
And I'm like, how can I portray that to a 5-year-old? And so I told them the activity for this is go lay in the sun under a tree. So it's broken up, like light coming through. Sometimes there's shade, sometimes there's sun. And close your eyes and feel where the sun is hitting your skin. Can you feel where that's happening at different points in your body? Now imagine all of that sensation jammed just into the front of your face. And then that's how you outwardly look for things, is you can feel heat off stuff. I mean, nature's nuts. The more you look, the more you have more to educate. Like sharks can literally sense heartbeats of other animals if they're close by. And there's some insane word for it that's based off some like German scientist, but they can feel heartbeats, like magnetic feelings from heartbeats. And I'm like, there's so much cool stuff. And we're focused on like where to shop today at Trader Joe's or go to Walmart. And I just want to teach people how big this world actually is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that caring about it, like getting people to care about it, is the difficult part, because it's from, if you don't start them at an early age, like from kids and stuff like that, it's hard to get them to care about it.
Exactly.
You know, because a lot of people would put their kids in sports, and like their whole identity, at least for me, like golf was my identity for so long. And like I thought the better the golfer I am, the better the person I am.
Interesting.
You know? And that's just totally not true. And then there's even like fighters who would identify like, this is my whole life. Like George St. Pierre, do you know who that is?
No.
So a big time UFC fighter.
Okay.
And he realized, he was like, yo, this is the biggest fight of my life. And I'm world champion. And it really doesn't matter that much. You know, there's so much more out there, you know?
Yeah.
Because it's just a big niche that a lot of people pay attention to. Like for the Super Bowl, like when people talk football, I don't really pay attention to football much. So they're like, oh, how do you not know this? Or you're not in this fantasy league. I was like, I don't pay my attention there.
Interesting.
Know?
Yeah.
So like getting that attention on
socials
or nature and all that stuff. Hold on, I'm going to get you some more water. We'll pause, guys.
I'm a water drinker, dude. I've been on like dates before where I have legitimately had 7 cups of water. And yeah.
You mean, bro, you got to stay hydrated.
Yeah, exactly. Got to keep these lips luscious for the ladies.
Lips luscious. You ready?
You can keep that in if you want. Yeah, but it's interesting because I really want, like, once it goes viral, I don't care. And like for me, what does viral mean? Like you asked. And so like a specific video that I'm like educating people, like you get numb after a certain number of views. I mean, it happens for you for a while, but like if you reach 1 million views, you're like, oh my God.
Is it a dopamine hit for you? Is it like a drug? Do you feel good inside?
It used to be.
Yeah.
And then 2 million, like 3 million, 4 million, like I hit one that has 12 million right now. And like, I stopped checking after like 2 million.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, there's only so much dopamine, but I would say I consider a video an achievement. I have like over 200,000 followers on Instagram. If it gets over 10,000 views, like 10,000 people watch my shit.
Yeah.
And you can see how many
eyeballs,
how many days that like equates to. And like, I just took up 2 days worth of attention from the human race.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
that's crazy.
Do I deserve that? You know? And so seeing, I mean, yeah, a video that has 12 million views, that's a minute long. Like, I can't even imagine the impact that would make. I mean, obviously people look at 500 videos a day.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
How does that translate to, I guess, monetary income? Because like YouTube is like
YouTube is going to be the money maker in the long term.
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess for short form content, how are these people making so much money? Because you see the TikTokers out there, you see a lot of people with Instagram who have millions of views, and like, are these people making bank?
It's interesting. People either are influencers for the sake of influencing, or they're influencers promoting something else, and they happen to be influencing along the way. And so people that happen to be influencing along the way, like, oh, I'm going to use my 4 million followers to promote my athletic brand that I have already, or whatever it is. Like, that's sick. I'm not making diddly squat from these books, I'll tell you that. But I do want just the education piece out there. Like, I paid up for all the books out of pocket. Like, I wanted to have something to give people, to be like, this is how I'm helping your kids be part of nature. But I
guess how did this attention that you amassed allow you to go all in and quit your job?
Yeah, I got a few good brand deals that were paying really good money, and then I'm like, this is enough to hold me for the next like year, and I'm just gonna stop and focus on it, see if I can capitalize. But I would say, so I have like maybe a video, a YouTube short that's like 20,000 views will get me $3.
$30? $3.
$3 for about 20,000 views
for YouTube short.
Yes.
Okay.
Now,
but that doesn't happen with Instagram.
No, Instagram, that would get me $0.00.
Really?
So Instagram, honestly, if you're making money off views on Instagram, you're getting like over 5 million views a month, and like consistently.
Okay. And
yeah.
Instagram pays out as well, or no?
Instagram does pay out. I've probably made collectively from Instagram close to $1,000 over the course of 3 years. And so I'm just not like, that's not money I can rely on.
Sure.
Same with TikTok. TikTok is also that way, and they're only promoting videos longer than a minute now to get paid for it. And they're like, hey, if you make stuff under a minute, we're not really gonna care. So really, realistically, is my strategy now, and steal this if you want, humans, to make a YouTube short that is also easily shareable on TikTok, Instagram, all the things, and then also make a long version of that video on YouTube. So that's how this knife throwing video went viral. I made it. It got 12 million views on the shorts, and then that directly brought them to my page where I had a video about how to do it that was 5 minutes long, and that has like 700,000 views.
Oh, wow.
But that gave me like several $100s, just that one video.
That's awesome.
And so figuring out these formulas, I mean, dude, by the time this comes out, it could be completely different. It could change tomorrow.
Yeah.
But
so I guess what's the format that you're doing separately? Like, is Instagram, TikTok, YouTube short the exact same video?
Yeah, and I'm not. It probably shouldn't be. What I like to do is just see how they perform. Because it's different audiences. Just we're talking about the value that you're giving. So the average age demographic for the people that watch my stuff on TikTok, it's going to be like less than 18 years old to 20 years old, or 24 years old.
That's cool that you're educating those young bucks out there.
Yeah. But the same video will be on Instagram, and it's going to be 25 to 30 or 24 to 35 years old is going to be the main age demographic.
Okay.
And then, so TikTok is way more fast paced. It's way more immediate gratification. It's more friends based. It's more like, oh, funny, silly jokes from school based. You're not going to get those same kind of jokes in Instagram.
Okay.
So like, send this to your best friend to go hiking. Like, that would be TikTok. Instagram would be like, oh my God, my knees hurt. I'm turning 30.
And YouTube.
Yeah.
Is YouTube the same thing, or is there a different characteristic?
I don't know enough about YouTube, if I'm being honest.
So YouTube's like the next monster that we're trying to tackle.
Yeah, if I'm being honest, it's like a spray and pray.
Yeah. Spray and pray.
Yeah.
I feel like that's it too. Like, if one hits, you're like, oh, copy that type of video. Similar to what you're doing for Instagram.
Yeah. I mean, I'll get videos that are on TikTok that I post, and they'll get 100,000 views. And then on Instagram, it'll get 1,000 views.
Oh.
And it's like that big of a disparity. I post them at the exact same time, but it really has to do with the demographic and the value that you're giving them. So if I'm posting at noon on a Tuesday, kids at school are not going to be scrolling through Instagram. People at lunchtime that are at work, they're going to be scrolling through Instagram because...
So you think about this. You think about like the audience.
Yeah.
And what they're doing.
Oh, that's marketing. Marketing, honestly, personally, might be inherently evil, in my opinion. Like, you can use this to specifically get to people's like inner machinations and fears. Like, I'll be honest, Trump is a great marketer because he advertises specifically to people's fear and like different items that they want to identify with themselves.
Yeah. And that they're worried about.
Yeah, that they're worried about. Yeah. And I mean, the other side does that too. The Democratic side preys on like your liberties might be taken away. And then the other people are like, these people are taking your liberties away. So they're using marketing just like everybody else.
I mean, that's the news, right? That's how they get your attention.
Yeah. Yeah. It's fear. I mean, if you don't think they work side by side together, that's it. Yeah.
How did you get into American Ninja Warrior?
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. I just want to be a capable human. I'm sure
there's plenty of ways to become a capable human besides swinging from obstacle to obstacle.
Yeah, but I mean, like in college, I started rock climbing, and then I'm like, that's sick. I want to do parkour, and I was really into the show Arrow, and I'm like, if I do parkour, if I do rock climbing, if I shoot arrows, I'll become that guy. And
how did you find out about it?
My dad was like, I was training in the backyard one day for nothing, just running around, shooting arrows and vaulting off stuff and swinging through ropes. And he's like, why are you doing this? I'm like, I love it. I love it. And he's like, just do the show. There's a thing on TV specifically for all of these things.
And you never watched it?
No.
Really?
I have never watched a full episode before I got on the show.
Really?
Yeah. And
wild. I was a big fan.
Really?
I was a huge fan. The first like maybe 6 season. I don't know what. Isaac, when did Isaac win?
Caldera won like 8, I think.
So I watched from season 1 to 8, like religiously with my family. And I didn't even know how to do it or like how to get in it. When I met you, I think that was the first or second time that I went to MLab. Yeah. And I just wanted to be able to do the salmon ladder. And I was physically capable enough that I got it the first time.
Yeah, super dude, sick. You crushed it. I'm like, oh, this guy's going to wreck us.
No, but I find it super entertaining. I've been a fan. That's crazy that like you were never a big fan of the show. You kind of just got into it.
Yeah, it's a bad problem because I'm pretty sure they asked me like, oh, so what's your favorite episode? What's your favorite outfit? Like, I don't know what you are. Yeah. And I've been talking to Mr. Beast people for like 3 years. They don't mind me saying this, but I'm like, they're like, so what's your favorite show? What's your favorite challenge? Like, what's your favorite? I'm like, dude, I don't watch your shit at all. I'm so sorry. And I have not been on the show, but I've been a consultant for a few things. But yeah, no, I think kind of what we were talking about earlier. Like, I didn't know what was possible and impossible until I got on the show. And my climbing experience blew out of the water. So there was a day that Kyle Soderman, do you know, he was one of the athletes on the show. He does world chase tag as well.
Oh yeah.
So he
also, that's crazy that tag is a sport now.
Dude, I know. I tried it. I have a video about this, and I tried to fucking forget about it. Those guys are so good.
Like they're so quick.
They're so quick, and
it's like parkour tag, guys. Like if you guys haven't checked it out, please check it out. It's like it's pretty entertaining.
But it's like all those kids are teens now because all their knees and backs are thrashed at our age already. You know? But I remember the day that I'm like, I could actually do this and be good at it was Kyle Soderman came in, and he was already a national finalist. He'd been on the show a few times, and like, he's good. Like, this guy is good. He's a competitive, amazing athlete. He does a flip a day on his stories, and he's a professional stuntman. He's amazing. And he couldn't quite get this one move. And I remember doing it and like flashing it and doing it immediately. And like, he did the rest of the route amazing. Like, the entire speed course, he did it amazingly. But I remember just doing that one point, and he looked at me, he's like, dude, that was incredible. And I was like, oh, I could do this. And, yeah, I applied for the show without even entering what
was your first season? What year?
11.
Okay.
Yeah, I applied for the show without even watching an episode, without any of it. I hadn't even been inside of a gym yet.
How did you pitch yourself?
The archery ninja.
Okay.
Yeah, I was the archer that likes to be in the woods. Yeah.
So from the get, you're literally just pitching the outdoors still.
Dude, I knew my brand when I was like 15. Yeah. Like, I haven't changed. And they brought me on, and I fell in the second obstacle immediately. But it was raining sideways, and it was a really hard obstacle, and it knocked out like 80% of the competitors. Okay. So I was like, all right, I feel better about that. But I promised myself I wouldn't quit. I wouldn't like stop until I hit the buzzer. Yeah. And then the next year, I hit the buzzer, and then I got onto city finals, and then I did really well in city finals, and then I got to Vegas. And
you went to Vegas?
And then I did well in Vegas, and I got to stage 2 of Vegas. And then I got like halfway through the course, and I got like 15th that season, like out of the 480 contestants.
Awesome.
And I was like, I think I'm into it. I think I got bit by the bug.
And so did you train for that second season?
Yeah, I got pretty into it.
What's the training process like for American Ninja Warrior?
I trained probably when it came closer to the time, like in the months leading up to it, I would go on uphill sprint runs on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And those were accompanied by rock climbing days. Okay. So I would boulder and then do those sprint runs.
How many meters or feet or miles?
I don't know. I used to watch this border collie dog that was my neighbor's, and he would just
sprint with you.
He wasn't allowed off leash with his family,
but
I would let him off leash because I knew I had to chase him or else he'd get lost. And I never lost him except for one time.
But you found him, right?
I hurt my ankle. And I was like, dude, hold up. And we were running through these cow hills and Chino hills. And he's like, fuck you, dude. I'm not waiting for you. And he just took off. And they found him on a golf course a day later.
So you actually lost him?
I did lose him. Yeah.
That must have been a shitty feeling.
Yeah. And then I kept doing it. I'm like, there's no way he's going to ever outrun me ever again. And so that was I couldn't tell you how long it is. I would probably guess that it was a 3-mile run every day, but it was Chino hills. There's hills
So you would chill and then sprint, chill and then sprint.
And a chill would be a jog. Okay. Yeah. And then
rock climb.
And then rock climb, boulder. And then on Tuesdays and Thursdays, so that's Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Tuesdays and Thursdays, I would go to the ninja gym after work.
MLab.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And I'd probably shoot arrows before then because that usually gets started at 8:30.
Yeah. What's the process of the training in the gym itself?
Stretch for about half an hour. Okay. There's nothing better for longevity than stretching up and then stretching down after as well. So I would stretch, really focus on my back and rotator cuffs. And then
because it's a lot of back and rotator cuffs.
Oh, it's all shoulder.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shoulder and bicep. And then finger grip. So work on finger grip. Basically just warm up your upper torso. You don't really do anything with your body, your lower body.
Yeah, you don't do much. Jump on a trampoline.
Yeah, right. Balance a little. And then I
feel like the balance part's not really a thing though, because if you have enough momentum going forward.
That's it. Just run fast.
Yeah.
That's really what the entire show is. Run fast on this part and then hope that your finger grip keeps up on this part. Yeah. And that's it.
Because it's not slow balancing like a slackline or anything.
No. Yeah. And people have tried doing slow balance versions and they've done terribly. You have to go fast.
Yeah.
And then what usually happens is somebody will put up a new obstacle, and as you warm up, you're like, oh, yeah, I'll go give it a try. I'm fresh. Yeah. And then you'll try it, and you'll fall a few times. You work on that, and then you do a course run. Mm-hmm. So whether that exists or whether you just make it up, it's usually a 3-minute just nonstop obstacle race of balance and upper body.
And MLab has one different every single day.
Yeah, Arnold's awesome. He probably puts up a new course every week.
Yeah.
Completely new course.
That's sick.
And he's really awesome. Movement Lab in San Dimas, shout out.
It's super sick. Go check it out.
Yeah. And he has a whiteboard of who failed, who didn't fail, how fast did they get it, and how many fails did they do it. So it's a little fun and competitive, but it's all individual. It's all personal. Mm. So and the community is really strong. So we'll hang around, we'll putz around. It's a very boulder vibe where it's when you're bouldering, you do a really hard route for 20 seconds and then you rest and you lay on the pads and you talk to your friends about what you
in terms of rock climbing?
Rock climbing, but also that applies to Ninja Warrior.
Okay.
Yeah. And so you do course runs. So warm up, do a couple of test things, do a course run, and then probably focus really hard on something that you could have done better on. Do that a few more times. See if you get another course run in, warm down, eat a protein shake and a Carl's Jr. hamburger and get out of there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If someone wants to get into, ninja training and they think it's super cool, where should they start? What movements? They're not really into fitness and they're that's super fucking fun. It looks fun. Yeah. I want to get into that form of movement to be a capable human.
Yeah.
What are the top 5 movements that they need to start with right away?
I would say test your door frames in your house. If they're strong enough, see if you can hang on the door frames.
Okay.
If you hang on the door frames, you could maybe do a pull-up on the door frames.
With your fingertips.
Then how many pull-ups can you do on the door frame?
Okay.
And then, I remember going to Vegas and we all had a group chat of all the ninjas that were going to Vegas, and there's the top 60 in the country. The number one thing in the group chat was, how strong are those door frames in the hotel? That was it. So, you don't need a bunch of crazy equipment. Do that stuff. And then after that, focus on your swings. So many people on the show are I'm really into CrossFit. I could do this. Oh, I'm really into this. I could do this. And they all do terribly because they don't focus on specific muscle applications I mean, because like people can look amazing. You could look like every Greek god ever and do awful on
Henry
the show.
Cavill.
Yes, Henry Cavill would do awful on the show. I think
that's a challenge, Henry.
I love you, Henry. But your weight has to be applicable, and so if you're carrying a lot of unapplicable muscle, which looks rad, it might not do well. So really focusing on your strengths. So for me, it's finger grip and just catching things far, like being a big lemur.
Catching things far.
Yeah, catching things real far, like swinging, like whoa, catch. Yeah, like that was fun for me.
How do you practice that without a gym?
Yeah. I mean, in my backyard back in Tahoe, I found some old galvanized steel bars just laying around town, and I roped them to my tree.
One thing that I see on the show is a lot of people build their gyms in their spaces. Yeah. And I was like, you can't do that in LA. It's too expensive. You don't have a backyard.
you need a permit to put down foundations out here, buddy. Yeah. What could be really good things? I would say just things that really develop your forearms. And then any kind of dynamic movement. If you go to the gym and just go to a regular gym, like you don't have to go to a ninja gym, and just focus on doing like those clapping pull-ups where you pull yourself up and then have some air time, clap, and then come back down. That would be really rad, because that explosiveness is what you need for the salmon ladder, what you're talking about. And for a lot of these popping up ones where you have to swing and then pop up and grab the next one, like there's a lot of like right before you're about to finish, you swing up and then you also have to like push, and that is really like where the elite like athletes really do well.
Yeah. I feel like kids are really good at it because they're light.
Yes.
Like seeing Arnold's lab rats run the course. I'm just like, yo, they're wicked good, dude.
Yeah, they're amazing. And their entire bodies, I mean, now they've been doing lab rat stuff for like 6 years. They're past puberty and they're killing it. Like I just was in the gym last week and everyone's a foot taller now than when I saw them 2 years ago, but they still have that same like athleticism. And those parents gave such a gift to those kids.
100%.
And there's one kid, Michael, that used to go there. And
I know Michael.
Well, he was Michael Casalmo.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he stopped ninja a long time ago, but now he's like an incredible pole vaulter.
Oh, sick.
And like, if you tell me those are different muscle groups, like you're wrong. I'm a pole vaulter too. And that directly ties into it. And so just giving the gift of movement to your kids is the best thing. I mean, like intelligence and movement, really, like brains and brawn. Yeah.
I also feel like there's a lot of people our age who don't have the ability to belay or like go from one bar and jump to another bar.
Oh yeah.
And I hear the excuse all the time. Like, I'm too old for that. I'm like, bro, we're the same age, my guy.
Yeah.
Like the thing is like, you have to practice it. You have to be a practitioner of those skills or you're going to lose them. Yeah. And it takes a long time to get back.
Dude, I stopped a little bit and like, I feel it. Yeah. Like I climbed with Jonah Bonner yesterday.
I don't know who that is.
He's the gondola ninja. He had striped shirts on. You'd know if you saw him because you guys met a few times at the gym, I think. Cool. But he, I told him about you yesterday, and he's like, I don't know who that is. So maybe you guys didn't meet.
we probably didn't.
But yeah.
In the other way, what are the skills that someone would need if they want to experience the outdoors the way you experience the outdoors?
Oh man,
what are the top 5?
Go in with an open mind. Just like, don't go out to hike. Like, find a little objective, but keep an open mind. You don't have to know what it is.
Let's tone it in even more. I'm talking like camping in the outdoors.
Oh, like skills? Like,
skills.
All right, skills. Things that you need to know. A little bit of first aid helps.
Okay.
Whether that's a wilderness first responder course, that's wilderness first aid. Whether
like
that's
if you guys get
course.
A blister on your foot and don't know how to treat it and it's bad, you're going to have a problem.
Exactly. Yeah. So that is awesome to know.
There's too many.
There's so much. I mean, like, I'm so far past, like, they always say the best person to teach somebody new is another beginner. Like, I'm really far down the rabbit hole at this point.
Let's see what you got, though.
Like, edible plants, edible, like, edible plants is super fun to learn. Mm-hmm. That's something super interactive to get you outside. For me, it's less about, like, the hard skills and more about why you're out there. Because the hard skills come. Like, they'll come. Mm-hmm. But what's the reason? And for me, it's adventure. It's that exploration. Am I going home and playing Xbox? I'll forage for stuff. I'll fight bandits. I'll do all that stuff. But but it all centers on the fact that I want to explore. And
you'll figure it out.
Yeah. And for some people that could be like, you're going out there because you want to feel athletic. You want to be like not a treadmill runner, but a trail runner. Like if that's your goal, hell yeah. Like right into that. But know that.
Have you done a trail run before?
A little bit. I honestly don't like running outdoors because I like exploring everything. If I run past something cool, I hate it. Like my dad and I were hiking and he started running. He's like, dude, let's just jog down this course. I'm like, all right. He was so close to stepping on a newt and I picked it up and it was this little tiny newt and it was fucking adorable. And he was like an inch from stepping on it. And I was walking, so I got to see it. Damn. But yeah,
it's crazy what you can see out there.
Nature's too diverse and special to run past.
So I'm helping my buddy train for his first 100-mile trail race.
Whoa.
Or like he's tried it multiple times, but he hasn't accomplished it yet.
Okay.
This time he's going to hit it. But he ran, I want to say last week, and he saw a deer carcass.
Yeah.
And I was like, yo, what? It was like all that was left on the deer was its eyes and ears. And I was just like, oh, like real shit happens in nature too. Like people don't realize that. Like this stuff that's on Animal Channel and like coyotes, like we'll get a deer here and there. They need to survive.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Have you seen any like crazy things like that out there?
Yeah, quite a bit. I remember hiking in college and I was in Flagstaff and I hike not on trails very much, if I'm being honest.
Oh,
like,
really?
I go in places that don't really have that many trails. Like it's just open landscape. But a lot of places like the Pacific Northwest, you can't go off trail because it's just thick ferns and the trails are beautiful. So you stay on them. But if there's areas that allow you to go off trail a bit more, let's see, what did I find? I was on the railroad. I was like following railroad tracks like an old hobo one time. And I found a deer that got hit by a train. And just exploded. And like I could see like its body parts were like 50 feet from each other. And it was, you could tell it was such an instant death. Like it didn't, but it was nuts. Like seeing just like the insane graphic goriness of an exploded deer. So close to civilization.
That's
really
wild,
cool.
dude.
Yeah. There's a coyote skull in my backyard that I found at a mountain lion kill site. So when mountain lions come into an area too soon before the deer come back, like in Tahoe, they don't know what to eat, but coyotes are plentiful. So mountain lions will kill some coyotes. And I found just a bunch of fur everywhere. And then just like bone, like eaten everything except the bones on all parts of the body, except the head was in perfect condition. Like its eyes were open. It looked like alive from the neck up, like totally fine.
And you cleaned it up? And
I was like, I don't think nature's done with this yet. So I came back probably once every 3 months to see the decomposition level. And it was like, yeah, the eyes are gone. The face is a little bit gone now. Like the nose is gone. Like I remember seeing it and it just rained. So its nose is like a little wet. It just looked like a dog.
Yeah.
And then now I went back maybe like 9 months later after I first saw it. And it was finally totally clean.
It was still there.
Yeah. I mean, I go in the places that no one hangs out in.
Yeah.
So it was still there. And I picked it up and I could hear the brain rattling around in there a little bit. I'm like, that's fine. I'll take it. And I put it on my, it's a nice prominent piece in my backyard right now.
That's sick.
Yeah. But I wanted nature to finish what it needed to do first.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like every bug, every animal, even if we die, like there's a purpose for all of it. Like
what's the purpose?
That's how nature goes. Like we decompose, we help so many animals with our decomposition. And like carbon sinks. I mean, the fact that like whales take up so much carbon from the environment, like that is harmful. And like, it's such a big animal that these tiny little toxins don't matter to it. And then it dies and it sinks on the floor. And like that, instead of floating up in the water now, like a lot of those like bad chemicals that it inhaled is now like into the ground instead, like way in the middle of the ocean floor. So we decompose, I mean, everything that eats you when you die will be food for something else. That's like it. Mushrooms are amazing decomposers. And all of that. I mean, I am so like, when we die, it is so exciting to see that we're all just going to go right back to life on our own ways. I mean, like, yeah, I believe there's a soul, but I believe also like maybe your soul is kind of gone when you die and it gets dispersed into all the things that end up taking parts of your body. And like, that's kind of cool to think about.
Yeah. I guess you being so educated on that life cycle, how do you think about death then?
I don't care. I mean, it'll happen.
Yeah.
Like I keep saying this and it's gonna bite me in the ass one day, but Yodo, you only die once. Like make it sick. Like I want to have a sword in my chest, pinned against a tree, and like just decompose as a skeleton against a tree. And I told somebody one time, right before I die, I'm gonna swallow my necklace that has a little treasure map in it, and like it's gonna be like in the middle of my chest, and someone's gonna find a treasure map.
Has
in my
all your
skeleton.
stuff of your car.
Yeah. But
because the education of it could, like what you just said, could put someone down a rabbit hole of just like also their spirituality and stuff, because they're not educated on what the decomposition of your body is going to do for all these other living organisms that are going to live off you.
I think the worst thing we do for humanity, like, and for the planet, one of the worst things is putting ourselves in a big pine box. Like, it is such a fancy, ornate box that costs like $9,000. Like,
it's a big business, dude.
Wrap me up in a goddamn like dish towel. I don't care. Like, throw me in a pit.
My uncle's in the funeral business. He's been in it since he was in high school.
That's never, I mean, what job security, right?
It's huge job security. It's very lucrative.
Yeah.
And it would be so funny because it happens so often, people dying, right?
Yeah.
And he's dealing with all these funerals and stuff. And he has like no remorse or sympathy. Like he'll deal with the family and stuff, but he's just like, yeah, people die, bro.
Yeah.
And so many people pay so much. I mean, if it's a family member, cool. If it hits regardless.
Yeah.
But if you don't know them and you see death all the time, or like if you're a surgeon, you see death all the time. If you're a nurse, like you kind of get desensitized to it.
Absolutely. I mean, you get to see us in our rawest form all the time, and you realize all this stuff probably even means less than how I think of my perspective when I'm in nature. Like all this stuff really just heightens. Like you're watching this or listening to this right now, and it heightens our sense of like humanity to a point where we very much value our lives. Yeah. And the fact that the planet doesn't give a shit if we're super intelligent or if we're a dumb pile of rocks, we're going to die all the same. Mm-hmm. And like, as much as that sounds awful, there is some kind of relief to that, knowing that this is going to keep going. Like things are great until we really just fall into orbit into the sun. The earth is going to go on and it's going to be fantastic.
What does that mindset do for you?
Makes me make silly videos and make light of death. I don't know. I think you're really just seeing it now. But
what it does
take risks.
It allows me just to chase whatever I want to do.
That's nice.
Because at least for me growing up, it's always get the safe job, do the right thing, and then get that secure whatever. Like start a family right away. You know?
Do you feel pressure from your family to have that stuff?
A lot. Now, because I have a similar perspective on life as you do, it's just like, I want to do the cool stuff. I want to talk to the coolest people. I want to have the coolest experiences and build the dopest body.
Yeah,
you know, like, because you only got one at bat at it. Like you also only live once too. It's like, make the dopest life. And then if you want, die cool too, I guess. I've never heard that, bro. That's a cool perspective to have.
YOLO, Yodo.
I guess the education part of it, like I'm trying to really dissect like how someone would find true, because you said people are watching the videos for humor first off.
Yeah.
You know, like what you just talked about that cycle of life and how what it really nurtures the planet for. Like that is that hits home. Like that made me want to learn of all the things you just talked about.
That's cool, man.
You know, and I'm just like, but before that, I'm just like, cool, it's cool knowledge. But like that hit home, you know, and I'm just like, how we need that message out there because it's way more than just funny videos, bro.
Yeah. And that's the challenge. It's like, how do you get that all incorporated? And like
I'm not getting into that spirituality part of it and into that life cycle of just someone's personality and soul into the nature of it. It's super cool in my opinion.
Thanks. Yeah, it's important to realize what's important, what's not, and like it's so different for certain people. Yeah. And I think like me just being a single white guy with not a lot to like not a lot at risk right now.
Mhm.
Like I can
Take the biggest risk.
I can afford to make big risks and think like this.
Mm-hmm.
But people that have kids, they're not going to want to listen to that and be like, you only die once. Like, my kid is 3. What are you talking about? Like, this is a world still.
When was the first time you started thinking about death?
Oh, I don't know. When does everybody do that? Let's think about it. This is funny. This isn't the first time it's come up. Do I have like a very morbid sense of it?
I think about it all the time. I'm curious. That's why.
Yeah.
Like mine's like 4th grade.
Yeah. When did I start thinking about death? That's a really good age. I would probably, it's pretty similar to that. My elementary school friend, Crystal Gama, her dad died in a crazy like police sting. And this drug guy that was about to incite a riot, like just crashed into the unmarked car. And it was her dad inside and killed the dad. And it was a huge thing. Like Schwarzenegger, who was the governor at the time, went to the funeral, and it was like in our hometown. It was devastating. And she came to school the day after, and I just saw her crying and like just
the day after.
Yeah,
That's wild.
The toll that it takes on people, like when something tragic happens. I think probably like that happened in 4th grade. I would say that that's a pretty big one. I mean, I think for everyone it's totally different, but like death being like, oh, sad, like that happens super young. But when it hits you and stuff, first experiences with it usually are pretty emotional. Then after that, you see the logistic thing. Like my aunt just died this year, and
sorry about that.
Thanks. She was like, wasn't a blood aunt. She was like she was my neighbor across the street's mom. And so they had 4 boys and we had 3 boys, and we were just 7 boys of pure chaos. And she was like basically my second mom.
Yeah.
But she'd been battling cancer for a long time, and her mom just died. And I remember her talking to me all the time. She's like, I'm going to be a ghost up in here. And she like her positive interactions. She was like, yeah, I'm going to die. It's going to be silly. Like we're going to figure it out. And just her positivity and knowing that like not only wherever she goes after this, she's going to take with her, but knowing that she affected people here that same way is so much more tangible. Like we're the only effect we have is just in this dimension that we're in. Right. So like, how can we do that? Like even in death, she made that statement. And I don't know, there's something so beautiful in that.
That's brave too.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, not being scared. I don't know. I mean,
because a lot of people live in fear.
Fear of death. I mean, yeah, very natural.
I mean, the outdoors. Like, so I had a mountain lion experience as well.
Tell me about it.
I was running at night. We started at 11 p.m.
Whoa.
And we took mushrooms before.
Cool.
And we were running, and my buddy's deaf, so he can't hear like stuff in the woods. Like, and every bush that I hear,
you're adding all the factors up for the story I read. You're a deaf, drugged up night run.
Yeah,
perfect.
100%. And I'm just screaming left and right because it's so much elevated. Like every bush is like yelling at me, like watch out, bro. You know. And then similar to your eye experience, I saw 2 eyes, and then we just stopped. And he's like, well, what? I was like, look. And we're staring into these eyes, and for like, it felt like 3 minutes. It's probably 10 seconds.
Yeah, it's always crazy.
And then it goes away. And it went away. And I feared for my life that night, you know, but there was some like peace to it too. I mean, it could be because I was on mushrooms, but I don't know. But like, even walking down the street at night, dude, like, and you see like some dude with a hoodie, and I'm on guard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was eating at your Jersey Mike's down the road here, and there was a lady that was screaming at me from my car.
Yeah.
And she was like a foot from my car.
I feel like it's human nature. But the fact that you were just reading next to Mountain Lion too, bro, that's kind of crazy.
Thanks, Doc. Also, like, I knew that fire was my best bet. You know, logistically, I would wave one of those big old sticks right in its face. Yeah. Like, I would go full caveman.
How do you make your fires? Because in Boy Scouts, you're taught the 2 ways, right? You got the
log cabin and the lean-to.
And the lean-to. Yeah.
So I made a fire the other day that was like the best fire I ever made. It depends on what you want the fire for. That's like the big thing. If you want big boy bonfire, like let's all party and drink, you make a teepee. That's true.
It also just looks the coolest.
Exactly. That's why. Nate, you're perfect. Yes. And so if you want to cook over things, you make a log cabin because it's easier to put pots and pans on top. But I learned, make a log cabin, make it super tight, and then light the fire on the top. And put kindling and stuff towards the bottom so it'll burn down. And it lasts like, I only had like 5 logs. I'm like, let's see how long this lasts. It lasted like 2.
Do you bring
3
your
hours.
logs out?
Depends on where.
Okay. So because you won't find. I mean, you could find.
There's certain campsites that say you cannot forage for wood.
Oh.
Yeah, because
have to
number
bring
one,
them.
I mean, there's just so much valuable wildlife out there, and if everyone that went to these campsites searched for wood, it'd just be chaos.
That makes sense.
You'll see some of them. Sometimes they're just like random ass axe like hits in just like the greenest trees, and you just know people out there just went in super unprepared.
Yeah.
And had an axe, so they're like, might as well.
Yeah. And maybe most of those trees don't burn either.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's wet. It's wet wood. There's a reason they gave up.
Yeah.
You know? And so some places, you do not. So it's really funny. Some places you have to bring wood in, and some places you're not allowed to bring wood in. Because a lot of times what happens is when you burn wood from other places, all the bugs that are inside the wood go, shit. And then they jump out of the wood. And sometimes they're invasive bugs. Sometimes they're termites. And they completely destroy the ecosystem. So you have to just pay attention to where you're at. So like when I'm up in Tahoe, you can't have fires at all in Tahoe. Like you have to have a permit for a gas stove that like you bring in the backcountry.
That's why okay.
Yeah. I mean,
you have to have a permit for gas stove?
Yeah. They had a fire in 2021 that burned down like 10 to 20% of the entire like of Tahoe. Yeah. Like houses burned. Like I go there all the time and it's devastating to go through. It's the Caldor fire of 2021. And it's awful. So like you can't have fires out there. And that got started by a guy shooting a gun and the ricochet causing sparks. And it was just a super dry day.
Fuck.
You know, I mean, he was not supposed to be doing that with his kid in the middle of the woods on a fire restriction day. There's not a lot. You can't shoot firearms in like a fire restriction zone.
That makes sense.
Now we learned why. And that one person learned a little tiny lesson and at the expense of millions of acres. That's just how the world is. So,
I mean, we could say the same thing about LA fires. We don't know what's going on with that.
Yeah,
or
exactly.
Who did that?
Exactly.
Dude, what is it like living in a cabin in the woods?
It's nice.
Lake Tahoe.
I was on a video call the other day with this orangutan conservation group. And I was like, hey, we're talking about conservation. I'm like, guys, give me a second. And they're like, what? Because I was like in the middle of a sentence. And I opened up my front door and I had to like scare away the bear that was trying to get into my like window screen to get into my house. Like right next to my face. I'm like, dude, like from me to you, I'm like, get out of my house. And it was like, oh boy. And it just like booked it and ran away.
How do you deal with bears?
You run them, you jump, run them down. So there's black bears. America killed most of their grizzlies. The United States or the California state flag is a grizzly bear. We killed all of them. There's not a single grizzly bear in California. Maybe like super northern parts, and it's insanely rare, but we killed all of them. So anytime that you get a bear in California, it's a brown bear, and those things are giant raccoons. You run after him. You go, hey, get the hell out of here. If you're between its cub, though, don't mess with it.
Okay.
But the way you can tell the difference between a grizzly and a brown bear, a brown bear and a black bear. Black bears are brown, so it's really tough, except for the big hump on their back. If it's a big hump,
it's a black bear,
and they're freaking huge, it's a brown bear.
It's a brown bear.
And those are the scary ones.
Okay.
Those ones you ball up and hope to God they don't eat you.
Okay.
That's a brown bear. A black bear is the giant raccoon. They are way smaller. And that's only
harmless?
Very.
Okay.
There has been one reported death in like the last like 30 years from a black bear, and there's so many of them.
And brown bears are scary.
Brown bears are scary. Don't mess with them.
So there's a black bear in front of your house.
Yeah, and it happens all the time. That guy has been. I know that bear. He's been in my house. He ate my spaghetti. I didn't like that. I wasn't happy that happened.
Did you leave your spaghetti outside?
Yeah, and my chips.
And he ate your chips.
He ate my chips.
Oh, that's why he came back. He was like, dude, where's the good dinner that I had last night?
I knew his mom though. And his mom was really calm and nice. And I think somebody shot her butt with like an arrow because it had a really bad limp.
Oh, damn.
And it was this biggest bear. I first met her out in the woods, like right when I moved to Tahoe. Mm-hmm. And I was just running down this mountain. I was super late to get to meet somebody. And I was just way too in the middle of nowhere. And I just saw her like from me to the camera and like maybe like 10 feet just on the other side of like a thicket. And we were just staring at each other. And she was so fat, like the biggest black bear I've seen in my entire life. Just huge.
Yeah, she was thick. She was thick gal.
And she had a little limp with her.
Yeah.
And she was like turning towards me. And I'm like, gonna run home. And I sprinted all the way home. I think I'm wearing the pants that I wore that day because there's a big hole in them from me tripping over all these logs.
So you were booking it.
Yeah. And then I saw her later limping, and her son was behind her. And the son was like 2 or 3 years old. Like, he knew what he was doing. But then I saw her one more time later in the season, and she could barely keep up with the sun.
Damn.
And I mean, it was beautiful to see because it was such a beautiful, like, you know, it was nice. And then I started to see the son by himself doing the same route. And I'm like, somewhere out there, you know, her body's feeding so many souls right now.
Yeah.
You know? And I there's like something really special to that. Like, if I get lost, I do not want to be found. Like, if I get left for dead, that is great. Like, I don't want to be found. I want my body to just be taken by the animals.
What do your parents think about that?
I was in Borneo a few months ago, and so I had to write a medical release form, kind of, not a medical release form. It's a legal document saying, like, what do you want your body to happen with it if you're lost?
Yeah.
And I basically said, like, don't look for me. Like, leave my body. And I think that's illegal. Like, you'd have to find me. But I'm like, don't put me in a coffin. Just wrap me up and just lay me in the ground. Like, do not, for the love of God, put me in a coffin. And my dad was like, this is the most sad thing I've ever read. And I'm like,
you showed it to your dad?
I had to email it. So I'm like, please open this only if something happens. Because if you read it, it's going to really bum you out.
And he decided to read it?
Yeah. Yeah, he's my dad. He'd be curious. But
living in Tahoe,
man. A lot of bears. Seen some bobcats. A lot of coyotes.
But there's like dope civilized places in Tahoe as well. Like, why did you choose? Like, do you have neighbors?
Yeah, dude. That's the thing with Tahoe. I live 5 minutes from the casinos.
Oh, okay.
But my house is the last one on the block. I walk up my street with my bow and arrow and a sword on my back, and all my neighbors are like, "Oh, there's that guy. What's up, man?" And like, I wave to all of them.
Yeah. Why did you choose Tahoe?
It's easy.
After Chino Hills.
It's a place where I can live who I am, and everyone needs to find that. And I can explore in the open air. You know.
Did you like decide to take a couple trips there before moving?
Never. I hadn't even been to Tahoe until I took the job there. Yeah. So I moved there because I got an interview with the Tahoe Rim Trail Association as a communications director, doing marketing for nature. Yeah. And they asked me the same question. They're like, so why Tahoe? And I'm like, if I'm being logistically honest, this place allows me to explore more than it would the Pacific Northwest, where there's so much underground or like base ground foliage where I can't explore that much. Here, I can go off trail a little bit. I can meander and wander. And I think that's really special for my soul. Like, I need to wander. And they're like, go dancer.
Why do you have to wander? Why is your soul telling you to do that?
I think from a young age, I mean, you're probably similar. Like, there's more to life than what's been given to us at face value. And what does that mean for me? And for me, I grew up with a bunch of Boy Scout skills, with this like hero performer complex, and all the stuff just combined to make me want to be an outdoor adventurer.
Yeah. And social media has allowed you to like do all of those together.
Exactly. I mean, yeah. So man, if I get like really famous off of doing this, I mean, a lot of people put on personas like when they're on like social media, and I don't think I've ever lied on like social media. Like all my stuff is me. Yeah. It's as genuine as I can make it.
Is fame the goal?
Fame is the goal because I want a bigger platform to educate people. And I know that is my best shot right now to help the planet is through bettering myself and getting that fame.
So it's not for you.
No, I tell people all the time, if I knew that working behind a desk job would save the planet, like better than it would if I educated millions of people with my content, I would do that instead. Like, but this is more fun. Yeah.
There's not like a little part of you where you're like, oh, it makes me feel good.
It does make me feel good. I would say when I get really viral, I don't feel anything inside. Like I don't like have an extra pep in my step. If something does really poorly though, I'll feel a little shitty about it. Cause you know, you work really hard on a project, and a lot of this time it's editing takes 3 hours, filming takes 2 hours. And like you put one of these out every week or 2 of these out every week. And like, if something doesn't go well, I'm just like, did I lose it? Yeah. Like, it's never like I'm a worthless piece of crap. It's more like, where am I? Come on, like let's work back at it. Like, this wasn't a good week for this kind of thing, but what can we do? But also, like, I try very hard to not make it my worth. I volunteer a shit ton, and I try to do stuff outside of what I film. I mean, the outdoor adventures that I have, I don't film most of them.
Yeah.
Like when you guys see me on Instagram and stuff, that's like because I decided to go out in the woods and film. But most of my adventures, I barely bring my phone. Yeah.
But that's kind of crazy because you post a lot of content. So like you're out there a lot.
I'm out there all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it takes a lot of courage to go to a place that you don't know and with people that you don't know and just do the thing.
I'm a little social butterfly.
Yeah, like that's cool. But like, I guess for me, like back to communities, you know, what you're selling, like for a hiking group or whatever, like I've built this dope ass community out in LA.
Heck yeah.
You know, and that's like with training people, trail running people, like I was in the bartending community for a long time, so I got like a ton of friends.
Dude, you would be the best bartender. I'm sure you're like the coolest guy to talk
Thanks,
to.
man. I did it for like 6-7 years. It's made me want to do podcasting even more.
Yeah,
so.
what a transferable trait.
100%.
Yeah, if you're at a bar, this would be my 5th beer.
Usually I make cocktails for people, but I'm prepping for a bodybuilding show right now.
Right on. Yeah. Dude, you look bulked, man.
Thanks, man.
You're looking good.
Appreciate it. But I always hesitate because like I want to explore and venture. There's like that piece of me, that soul that wants to go check out a different city or a different place and not live it for a little bit. But like I feel very tied down right now. And but I love it. I love every aspect of it. So there's that pull, you know, and it's very inspiring hearing you just like, oh, I'm gonna go and socialize and make another community out there and meet these people, you know. But like, what gave you the courage to do that?
Honestly, when I travel outside of the country, I think I've been to 27 countries now.
Oh shit!
I'm gonna go to South Africa in a couple weeks.
For what?
Safari. It was a silent auction offering that my dad bought for my mom at one of the charities that I work for. I invited them out to this charity. I'm like, just come to support. And he's like, actually, I want that. I'm like, sick, get it. And my mom's like, hell no, I'm not going on a safari. So I got the ticket.
Sick.
So yeah, me and my dad are going on a safari. But when I'm traveling, this is going to sound so stupid, but maybe it'll help somebody out there. I watch James Bond before I go. The fact that someone is so fluent in just travel and just being so like, travel is like second nature to them. And like, that's not really the point. That's not why they're there, but they want to explore. Like, just like the nonchalance and fluidity of traveling is amazing. And so I went to semester at sea.
What do you mean by that?
Fluidity is like, you can be like, oh, that's a gringo. Like, look at that guy walking down the street. Like, being like truly, what's the word for it? Like, ambiguously human. I don't know how to say it, but yeah. So when I traveled abroad in semester at sea, the captain, I would see sometimes at certain ports that we stopped into. It was an educational boat where we took, and we went to a bunch of different countries as we learned on the ship, kind of like Sweet Life of Zach and Cody.
Sick.
And I remember seeing the captain, his name is Captain Kostas, just in different settings. I remember him in Shanghai, and like I didn't give him a second thought. This dude's like Iranian, and he just blended. Like it was just like this confident fluidity of just going through like new areas. Like you don't have to be, yeah, I don't know what it is, but seeing that level of just confidence in going wherever you want and being like, I'm not going to get swindled. I'm not going to fall into any manholes. Like, I know where I'm going. And if I don't, like, I'm going to figure it out. But like, you have to be confident. And like, you go down to Mexico, people are going to act like cops and take shit from you. Yeah. That's happened to me. And like, you just have to be like, you're not a cop. You aren't a cop. And like, they'll be like, just, like staring travel in the face more intensely. I don't know what it is, man. I don't know what it is. But I like that. I like that feeling of like. So
you prep by watching James Bond to go travel.
A little bit.
That's sick.
A little bit.
Do you get your martini shaken, not stirred?
I have never had a martini.
You're a beer guy?
Yeah, I like beer. And honestly, a lot of times in other countries, that's the safest stuff to drink.
It is.
So
yeah, in China, have you been to China?
Yeah.
What's the liquor that they drink there? It's
I can't remember.
But that's the most consumed alcohol in the world.
Like, is it a rice wine?
Yeah. I think so. I forgot what it's called.
Yeah.
What does travel do for you, dude?
Perspective. There's some dumb guy on the internet the other day that said, I've been to a lot of countries and I'm pretty confident in saying that there are 100 million people in this world. That the 8 billion number gets thrown way out of proportion. He's like, I haven't seen that many people. I'm like, that's your proof? You haven't seen 8 billion people, so there's not 8 billion people. And like that guy has what we call myopia, or myopic view is just from your lens, from your empirical lens. It's myopia. It's like a condition with a lot of like psychological circles is, you only see what's in front of your nose, and you take that at face value, and that's what you run with your whole life.
Yeah.
And unless you want to live exactly like your parents have and exactly like their forefathers in perpetuity, like explore, get the hell out of here.
Yeah.
And there's no way to see the strength of an organism until you take it into a new environment. Biologically, like when an animal travels to a new environment and it just dies right away, you're like, that wasn't a very versatile organism now, was it? But an animal that can go to a new area, and then you can look at a million deers down the line and it's adapted to live on an island with these crazy adaptations. You're like, wow, that was a resilient creature that really learned to adapt. And like its storyline across like space and time, that really shows a testament of the strength of that organism. And
you're talking about for your own human.
Yeah. And so like take that like millions of years. I mean, we can travel the way animals have over millions of years in 20 years and 10 years and a year.
In a year.
And so what does that look like for strength in a person? And I don't know. I love traveling, man.
I love that perspective of it as well, like from a biological standpoint.
Yeah, thanks.
But back to the courage part, I guess, like how...
I'm also a white male, so it helps to travel being a white dude.
Sure. But like going back to like your step into Tahoe, because like I have parents who are afraid to like even fly. They won't even go on a flight.
I met somebody today that doesn't like to go on the freeways.
Yeah. People who don't like going on freeways, let alone pick up their entire life and move to Tahoe. Like what was going through your head, and like for someone like myself who has that pull. Yeah. Like how do you convince that person, or not convince them, but like, convince them to like take the jump, do the thing.
A lot of people say that you shouldn't like get a real job in life until you've become like a server. You know, you've heard people say that, like, you know what, like you should treat servers well, and by learning their steps in their footsteps. My version of that through my you had to be like a camp counselor at one point. In like, it was kind of like part of my practicum in like undergrad, because you get to deal with a bunch of people, but also it lets you travel. So I got jobs where I was seasonally in certain areas in the country for like 4 months at a time.
Have you done Philmont?
No, where's that?
Philmont is New Mexico. It's a Boy Scout camp.
Yeah, I don't mess with the desert.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a video of me like really harping on the desert, and like as much as I love the desert, I don't mess with it too much. Okay. But
there's a huge Boy Scout camp there that they have a ton of hiking trails, and each campsite.
I've heard of Philmont now that you say.
Each campsite has like a thing, like it would be like axe throwing, or it would be archery, and you would hike like 10 miles a day per day for like 2 weeks. You know, and so that was like my biggest camp thing that I've ever done.
That's awesome.
Like I've never done camping more than a couple days besides that trip. Like 2 weeks was like, it's big time.
Yeah, dude. 2 weeks is not easy.
Yeah. Pacific Crest Trail was I think I only did 2 to 3 days for 30 miles.
Yeah. I mean, you're an athlete. You could probably have done that in a day and a half.
Yeah. I went with a client and he was 70 when he did it.
Wow. Yeah. Were you in the Pacific Northwest? What kind of landscape was it like?
So there was a big open field for many miles.
Yeah, you're probably in the south. Okay. Yeah. I did the PCT by Mount Hood in Portland area. I did about 30, 50 miles of it. I can't remember.
Well, it was in California.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, you were around here then.
Yeah, it was around here.
Yeah. So did you walk towards Big Bear?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Barren land, man. That's not people's favorite part.
I mean, there's parts with trees.
Yes.
But then there's a lot of parts with like nothing. Yeah. There was like burnt areas as well. Yeah. I don't know.
Well, that's cool that you did it, man, because nowhere but up with the PCT for you.
Yeah.
That is the worst of the worst.
I might be down to do some with you. We could plan a trip or something.
Yeah, dog. And the PCT comes through Tahoe.
Okay.
Yeah. And it goes through Desolation Wilderness, which
How would you describe Tahoe to someone who's never been there?
Tahoe is a big old bowl made of forest that has water in the middle.
Okay.
It's the
and
biggest,
casinos.
And casinos. Yeah. It's the city of sin and the city of sick powder. Yeah.
Did you snow sports there too?
Yeah, snowboard. I had the Epic Pass. I had the Icon Pass.
Okay.
I bought and also it's like really, really rich, and then there's also like ski bums.
Yeah.
And so the really, really rich give away all of their stuff to Goodwill when they're done with it all the time.
Shit.
So the Goodwill in Tahoe, I got cross-country skis for $60.
Really?
And I just went cross-country skiing that day. And like, that was my entire day. And now I have cross-country skis. And that's pretty rad.
$60?
Yeah, my board that I've used for the last 3 years, I got for $40.
Wow.
At a Goodwill in Tahoe.
That's crazy.
Yeah, dude.
So go to the Goodwill, guys, in Tahoe.
Go to Goodwill in Tahoe. South Lake Tahoe Goodwill. You're just going to get nuts stuff.
How do you, not necessarily network, but how do you navigate new people, new situations in all these places, especially in Tahoe?
Yeah, man. I'm the hub a lot of times for friend groups. I make the group chats, say, hey guys, come over to my house for enchiladas tonight. My friends are going to laugh when they see this because I always make enchiladas. It's like the only thing I know how to make. And like my ex,
they're probably fire.
They're honestly pretty good. I'm not going to lie. But yeah, if I find the people that I like and then I pull them together. And you know, I think there's always one of those people in the group. And one time we all got very altered mindseted one fine evening.
That's a good way of putting it for the kids out there.
Yeah. If you're not a kid, we had weed soda and I got higher than I've ever been in my life. I don't know how to drink weed soda. I had like a quarter of the can and I don't realize that's like
15
300
grams, 20 grams.
Oh my God. Insane. But anyways, we went around and like said what we liked about each other. And everyone said, your friend group is the weirdest friend group I've ever met. Like there's people from all walks of life. And they're like, we didn't think that this friend group would work, but you made it work. And I think that is also a little bit my superpower of like, I like to find people that, I don't know. If I like somebody that I think they're okay, then I'll bring them in.
If they thought that about it initially, like, why do you think they're coming? Why do you think they show up?
Honestly, Tahoe's a small town with not a lot of families. It's all just people like you and I that like are like, you know what, we're fit and athletic. We should go out and figure out like who else is out there. And I mean, the trivia nights in town, I'll know half the people in town, like at that trivia night at a bar, because the town is really small. In a given day, I'll probably say like 6 or 7 people that I know just walking around town.
What's the beauty about like just being so familiar with most people in a small town versus like if you go out in a bar in Los Angeles or a big city, like the good chance everyone out there is you don't know.
You don't need plans. I mean, you can just go around and just be like, yeah, I'm gonna go rock climb today, and be like, oh fuck yeah, Leo's here and Cheyenne's here, and like all these people, but also. Like, sorry, I just touched your foot on the.
I kind of liked it.
All right, cool. Do it again. It's the best parts about college, in my opinion. You get to meet cool-minded people that you would have not otherwise met, and it's kind of like a dorm. If you're in a tiny town with a bunch of like people that move to the town for the same reason, it's kind of very similar to a dorm, and I really like that.
They moved to the same town for the same reason.
Yeah, people go to Tahoe for. Everyone is either like a remote worker or an environmental worker because they're going there to either like ski a bunch and justify the fact that they get to ski a lot, or they're there to help the environment.
Is it expensive? Because like
Super.
you said, there's a lot of ritzy people there as well. Like I would go gamble once a year in Tahoe when my buddy was like super big into counting cards and stuff like that.
Heck yeah.
And I'd be like, yo, this is expensive, bro. Like, how are you affording all this? He was like, I mean, he's a really good gambler, so it's completely fine. But I was like, this is crazy. How like a lift ticket at
Heavenly, yeah,
was like $300 and $400.
Yep. It's probably like $250, and then Kirkwood is like $300. Yeah, it's nuts. But I don't know. It's a pay to play world, and I would say that specifically in Tahoe. You're going to get people that are very fit, that have some kind of financial security, that want to get outside with you. And like, I don't know. I've never met a town, like I bop around towns like no other. I do it for fun, like living. Yeah. And Tahoe's got
true nomad.
Tahoe's got a grip on me a little bit.
Yeah.
Like
might hold you down for a bit.
Yeah. I've lived here longer than anywhere else since I left for college.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, I have lived in Minnesota, Arizona, Colorado. God, where else? I don't know, a whole bunch of places.
Do you know who Naval Ravikant is?
No.
So he's like a modern day philosopher, businessman. He's like famous among young male geeks, and I'll consider myself a young male geek right here.
Yeah, be proud.
But he talks about the most important things that you have to find as someone in your 20s is what you want to do, what you want to pursue in your life, right? Like the thing that your mission, right?
Yeah.
2 is like who you want to spend your life with, because that is a big decision as well, you know. Like your partner in this space, because a lot of people get divorces, this and that. Like that's a lot of people will just like marry the next person that comes.
Obligatorily, yeah.
Obligatorily. And
Is
third,
that a word? Is that a word? I think it's a word.
I think it's a word. We'll make it a word right now. And the third is the place that you live, because that community that you build around is essential to your happiness.
Yeah.
You know? And you shouldn't feel like missing out from a different place, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think it's true. I mean, I completely agree with those 3. I would say it's like more, I think the third one is the most important, because you are who you surround yourself with. I mean, that's not news to anybody.
No.
But I would say that once the part of you that's like, oh, this is me, but I can't really express it. Once that's at the forefront and that's like on the outside of your skin, you develop it exponentially faster when you're around other people that also have that. Even if they're not in the same like vein of you, if they just support it more, which like in Tahoe, for instance, if you're like, I kind of want to be a good skier, I moved to Tahoe. All of my friends know how to do backflips. And like, I'm not trying to do a backflip anytime soon.
They know how to do backflips?
Yeah, but like, it's so fluid, you know? And surrounding yourself like really manifests exponentially faster when you're surrounding yourself with just like the right people.
I just went to Canada for the first time.
Hey, nice.
And
what part?
It's like an hour out of Toronto.
Okay.
And my friend, her name is Taylor. She does like bodybuilding shows. So I wanted to learn from her.
Heck
and
yeah.
she let me stay at her place. And I learned a lot from her routines and stuff. Like she's measuring the amount of salt that she puts on her food, like
Really?
dialed to the
Wow.
T. And so like I run her routine every morning and I've lost like 15 pounds already. I'm like,
dude.
And it's systematized. I was like, oh, this is what it takes to be great, because she's been like an Olympian before.
Wow.
And but her friend group, it's like they were like, oh, yo, my buddy Nate's coming into town. Like we're gonna teach him backflips. And all at the same day, like 15 to 20 people showed up at this gym and were giving me tips on how to do backflips. And I was just like, I've never experienced that type of like community. I mean, like in LA, you can invite 50 people and you'll be lucky if half show up.
Yep.
You know, because there's so many different cool things to do every single night here.
Yeah.
You know, and back to what you said, there's not many people in that area doing exactly the things that you want to do. And so if you invite them, they're going to show up.
Yep.
You know, so like that's the coolest part that I see about like these small towns. I'm just like the community there feels like in my heart stronger.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah. I feel that so hard. I always invite people to my house because my house is a good like central location in the city. It's not in the center of the city, but it's on the outskirts in the center of the city. So like it works out better. Tahoe's a really weird place to say that it's in the middle of the city, but I invite people like I invite them like in LA. So I'll invite 25 people knowing that I'm fine if 10 show up. Fucking it's Tahoe. 30 people are going to show up. Everyone and their friends going to show up.
That's
so
sick.
It's such an opposite thing, you know? Yeah, it's really interesting. Like that's the weird thing is no one's parents live in Tahoe. So it's like rampant. It's just people living and, you know, like it's scary, but it's just a lot of unchecked millennials running around Tahoe. It's very fun.
I kind of love that, dude.
Dude, come and hang.
I'll come check it out.
Yeah.
We'll plan it after my bodybuilding show in July.
Yeah.
What do you call it? What are you most excited for in your life right now?
Dude, I don't know. Everything's up and up. I mean, I really am excited to see where YouTube goes because I just got a good foothold into YouTube to see if I can really educate like swaths of people. And that would be really fun. But in my life, man, I mean, yeah, South Africa is really cool. I'm going on a cruise. My grandma's 90th birthday. We're all going on an Alaskan cruise.
Sick.
That'd be really fun. But I don't know. I mean, I think just the general vibe of like just nothing's slowing down. Like I feel momentum in my life going somewhere. And who the hell knows how it's going to manifest? But like
it's a good feeling.
Yeah. But yeah, good question. What about you, Nate? What are you looking forward to?
I'm excited for this bodybuilding show. It's the first time that I put 100% into anything.
Yeah?
Yeah, because I cut off bartending. I cut off like teaching fitness classes.
Whoa.
And I'm really dialed in with just the podcast and bodybuilding. I say no to a lot of things now.
Wow,
like
nice.
if you texted me like, hey, let's hang out besides the podcast, I'd probably say no.
Okay. Noted.
Right now. Like I'm so dialed in into this thing of kind of going all in, similar to you with your content. It's like, this is what I want to do. And if I want to do it, like I'm going to give it my all.
Dude, like I said, your quality's top notch.
Thanks,
You're
bro.
Fucking looking big.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, things are good. You're in the right spot for this.
And I guess my question to you, dude, is there's a lot of people who want to make content, who want to do what we do, basically, like put ourselves out there.
Yeah.
And what was your transition to be like, oh, like I need to do this versus like, because a lot of people want to do it, you know, like they're like, I want to be an influencer.
Yeah.
I want to talk about trees too, like, and snakes and like all this shit and put it on social media.
Yeah.
But they're like, I'm afraid, to do that and like really put myself out there because it's scary sometimes. Like you're putting yourself for like potentially the world to see.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like what gives you the courage to do that?
God, I made videos since I was freaking born. Like, I don't know. It's just in my blood to perform. And I think this is just a good avenue for me to help the world. I mean, that's really what it comes down to is I mean, if I'm being very honest, the world does not need more influencers. It needs more people that want to do good things and use the platform for better reasons. So what's your purpose? What's your goal? What do you want to give people? I mean, if it's laughs, sick. Make sketch comedy groups. That's awesome. If you want to help the planet, make a good platform and then go out and help nonprofits or make a big platform and use that to source people from different areas to like clean up trash. Yeah. It doesn't have to be like, I am the attention person because also number one, people get tired of that real fast. And number two, that's going to do nothing for your ego. Yeah. That's just only going to bolster it to a point where like you are this thing that like feeds like a view succubus. Sure. And, I've seen those people and they're not happy. I will tell you now, the influencers you watch on screen do not live the lives that they say they do. I would say all of them are banging the head against the wall most days saying, how am I going to be popular to make the next good video? Because my livelihood depends on it or my mental health depends on it. Yeah. And mental health more so. Oh, 100%. They're usually not either or, but it's both. It's usually together. Yeah. But it's nuts. The world doesn't need more influencers. It needs more people to do good and find your value that you can give people. Bringing it all full circle back to marketing. Find your value that you want to give to people. I think we ended it there, bro. Whoa! And where can everyone find you? Outdoor Anthony everywhere except Twitter. This dude Anthony owns it, and I don't know what he's doing with it. So Outdoor Anthony on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Threads, Lemon8, which is a derivative of TikTok's Instagram efforts. I've never even heard of that. Dude, it's stupid. Don't do it. Lemon8. It's really dumb. And that's it. Yeah, man. Cool. Go check him out, guys. And, AnthonyPorter.com. AnthonyPorter.com. I can do other stuff too. And check out his book for if you have kids out there. My Epic Nature Journal. Honestly, bro, I think if you promote that more, I think that could be very beneficial for the young generation out there because I see so many kids, including family members, who are just stuck on their iPads, stuck inside. And like I got so frustrated by it when I went home for Christmas last year. I woke all the kids under 14 up. We did a cold plunge and a 3-mile run. Really? Yeah. I was like, jump in the pool right now. Like, let's go. Because, dude, they're always on their iPad. Yeah, but see, that's the challenge. Is not a lot of people have that. They don't have a you, Nate. Yeah, I know. They don't have you either, bro. We gotta. We need to do that good because there's gonna be more 7-year-olds who are obese, bro, and we can't have that. Yeah, no, dude, we're working on it. Yeah. Also, Outdoor Anthony Kids. I have kids videos that do not say poop jokes. There's one that has a poop joke. What's up with the poop jokes? Dude, they get the views. That's really it. So at Philmont, when I was in Boy Scout camp, it was the first time that the ranking of poop was a thing. And it was from 1 to 10. It was different ranks than yours. Oh, really? I see. There's a lot of poop ranks that are different. Yeah. So a perfect poop was like a 10 is like you don't need a wipe. Right. Yeah. Ghost shit.
Ghost shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like so dry that you don't need a wipe.
Yeah.
And then it was like all the way to like, because your rankings were like out of 5, right?
Yeah. So yours that you're talking about goes from like how pleasing the poop was.
Yes.
Mine is like off of how naturey your poop was.
How nature? What do you mean?
So like mine's like, did you see animals when you pooped? Did you lock eyes with the animal when you pooped? And the last final one, a 5-star, is what goes 1 to 5, is like, did you poop from a good vista during sunset or sunrise?
Yeah.
And you locked eyes with the animal and you took a dump at the same time. That's like the zenith.
How often do you poop in nature?
I pooped on the way to LA last week in the middle of the desert. So I would say once a week I poop out in the woods.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my buddy who's training for this 100, he poops almost every day in nature.
Oh yeah.
And I haven't done it except for like camping wise. Like I just like, I have a toilet back at home, bro.
Well, if we want to end it in a really weird place, like, yeah, my butt's too hairy nowadays. Like when I was a kid, I could just anywhere, but now it's like, all right, I gotta watch myself.
So you need nature to do it? I'm still confused.
Yeah. So no. So
like it's better
just for wiping, like, because I don't have like just auxiliary toilet paper in my back pocket. Like
you don't do happy wipes or wet wipes?
No.
Okay.
No. I'll use sticks or leaves.
Okay.
But even then, like, it's not
great.
A 90% fantastic wipe still leaves 10% shit in your butthole.
Yeah.
So like, Anyways, how can we talk about something else real quick before we finish the podcast?
I mean, we can end it with that. Clean booties, guys.
Clean booties. Nate, thanks for having me. I appreciate you.
Thanks for coming, brother. Or thanks for hitting me up, dude. This was awesome.